Dig it.
Very impressive.
Yep. And you put a red mage on there.
Yeah. I'm Jeffrey Hurchin and part of Team Nova Circuit. I do a lot of different things. Yeah. Just trying to help get things rolling again.
Yeah, Harry got you. Harry, yeah, he's
So now he can hear me. Yeah,
okay.
so we're good. Anyways, yes, welcome to the Nova Circuit live stream. Special guest Vanny. So I thought we'd do something special since Vanna Spears is a huge Final Fantasy fan. I thought we'd make this a Final Fantasy themed podcast. So pretty much this whole podcast is just gonna be us discussing Final Fantasy, our thoughts, top threes. I also have a question that I have never asked Vanny yet on one of his streams. And I'll ask that just later whenever it comes around, but it's nothing too high pressured or anything. But yeah, welcome to the podcast, guys. This is the Nova Circuit podcast. So so how we're gonna start is Vanny himself. He's a Twitch streamer. We'll post his Twitch stream at the in this podcast. You'll see it in the chat. I have the chat bot. It's gonna be mentioning it. He's a Twitch streamer. I'm a huge fan of his. I've just been watching his streams probably about for 2 weeks now, and I'm almost there every day now. I find them very interesting. I love Final Fantasy. I love cooking, so he just shoved them together, and now I'm just like, holy crap.
It's a good way of putting it. Yeah, you just take two things that don't mix, and somehow you just make it kind of work sometimes.
Hey, Sutherland, how you doing, man?
What are you doing tonight?
Yeah, Sutherland's our subscriber. He's also part of our TCG team, our esports TCG team.
Nice.
But
what's up?
Yep, he is a subscriber. But anyways, so I thought let's just go ahead and start the discussions off. Pretty simple. We'll just go around, and since we're talking Final Fantasy, we'll just discuss our favorite Final Fantasy games. We'll just do a top 3 list. I already know Vanny's, but he can mention it on our podcast for the people that haven't seen his stream. But we'll start with Hurchkin, and we'll work our way around. It'll be Hurchkin, Mags, Mayogetsu, me, and then we'll end it with Vanny. So go ahead.
Oh man, you're putting me quite on the spot.
There you go. And
rating Final Fantasy is not the easiest thing to do.
No, sir.
At least for me, like there's so many like different aspects and categories to them. Really, I feel like I almost have to like box them in different areas because like some have better stories than others, but like not the best gameplay, and some just like definitively have like the best gameplay in the series. Just off the top of my head though, like Final Fantasy IV has always held a special place in my heart because that's probably the first one I think I ever played. Final Fantasy IV. If it wasn't Tactics Advance, I kind of got started a little bit late, but as soon as I did start them, I played 7, 8, 9, 10. Tactics, and then I went back and played all through the rest of them. But 4 is really special. 10 is definitely at the top for me. 7 and Tactics are probably my favorites. I don't know that I can put any in a particular order. What'd you say, top 3?
Yeah, just the top 3.
Man, off the top of my head, probably 10 is my favorite.
Okay.
Then I'd probably choose. Oh man, like it's a toss up between like 4 and Tactics, I think.
Okay.
I'd probably go like 4/Tactics maybe, and then 7. I don't know. Like Tactics has like one of the best stories, and it has a really in depth gameplay. 4 has a really great story.
Yeah, 4 does have one of the better storylines.
It's also one of the most generic Final Fantasies.
Like I liked 10. It's definitely my top 3 list, and when we get to me, I'll explain that. The only thing I actually did have a problem with 10 was Titus. To me, could be whiny at times. So I was just like, please stop whining.
A little bit. It wasn't as bad as like some other video games
voice
and
acting in
characters.
general, I think.
I actually liked it though because that was the first Final Fantasy game I believe that had voice acting in it. Right?
Yeah,
it
and it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually pretty good. The production quality was actually really, really good for what it was at the time, especially going into like a new generation of like video game consoles and things. And with the very few exceptions, like obviously the laughing scene is like the most made fun of thing in the entire game.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
But I think part of that was actually the limitations of the like the polygons and stuff themselves. Like it just looked awkward, and it just really made for a really like memey situation. It was easy to make fun of.
It is, but in the context of the entire conversation, though, it does work because it's not like a legitimate laugh. It's a laugh to like say like if you're so pent up or you're so frustrated, just let it out with a laugh, and it's a fake one.
Right.
And by doing that, then you get the real genuine one after that, and that one looks a lot more natural. So as much as it does get memed, I always contest that. Like that's the point. It's supposed to be almost
Right.
fake
And
to then
I
lead to
think
the
that
real
does
reaction.
get lost on a lot of people too.
A lot.
Easily.
Nuance was really lost on that one.
Because it was also like that's also just like a Japanese culture thing as well. Like kind of understanding that like you see it a lot in like anime as well, like where you know a main character or something goes off onto like a balcony or something and like yells out into the void, that kind of thing.
Another weird thing, and I know this is just kind of off subject, but the other thing I really noticed a lot about Japanese culture and the way most of their animes, games, and all that are. So you guys ever notice that the main character always has women drooling over him? And that's not a joke. I mean, it's serious. Like, I'll bring up an anime.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah, because like what SAO, Sword Art Online, everybody wants Kirito.
Yeah.
And then the thing brings up in Final Fantasy X is the affection aspect of the game, which I just found out last year about that. Like the interactions that you have between Lulu, Riku, and Yuna affect like some cutscenes and stuff like that, or certain phrases because you build affection levels on that. I was like, man,
Wait,
where
in
is
10?
this? Yeah,
I'd not heard about
don't
that.
remember that.
yeah. I didn't find out
Played
until
that game a bunch of times.
Well, I see. So I didn't know anything about it until
10-2?
No, it's 10 because when I went on to look at a strategy guide, I believe it was on IGN's strategy guide because I wanted to 100% the game. IGN mentioned it, and then they put a link to the affections, like what to do to get the proper affections for Yuna, because you kind of want Yuna to be the one with the most affection levels. And believe it or not, it actually is true because I tested it on a theory. They were like, if Yuna has the highest one, she'll say this at a certain cutscene. And then I was like, okay, well, let me try Lulu because to me, she's this. If Yuna and me ever worked out, she'd be my rebound.
Is this even in like the main cutscenes though? Like the CG video ones?
I think they said maybe one cutscene was affected, but it's mainly just the scenes where they're talking to you.
Yeah, like I can see like where
that's the things where it changes. Like when you talk to like. It is more like, and during certain cutscenes that aren't the CGI beautiful, it's like Lulu will talk to you first if she has the highest affection level, and she'll say a certain thing to you, or Yuna will talk to you first because of that. Yeah, that was in 10.
Well, I will add on to like one other thing you mentioned, at least in SAO. Have you actually played the other video games for that though? Like apart from the anime series?
I played. I have all of them because I'm a huge SAO fan. It's my favorite anime.
Okay, so
but I only played.
Example is that
one.
Those, at least the one I played, I think it was like Hollow Hunt, maybe or something like that. It's actually like one of those dating sim games, like built into like the fighting RPG that SAO is.
Not a bad list, Henry. A lot of people like 7. I'm glad that you have 15 in there. Thank you. I'm glad someone appreciates.
Anyway,
15
that was my list.
Yeah, we'll bring up more
bags.
discussions. So Margaret, I already explained to him before the podcast. Margaret has watched Jeff play Final Fantasy, her husband, but she's new into it. But from what she's seen so far, she's watched him play Final Fantasy VII Remake. She told me yesterday about 15. You have a good reason for liking 15, Margaret, because you found out about it.
Yeah, because it's all like the cooking, and you gotta go and get your resources and everything, and then you get to cook it.
It was Ignis, right? Ignis was the one that cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think
He's come up with the new recipe.
Oh man, that was my favorite quote. Him or Prompto singing "I want to ride my chocobo all day." that was my favorite part of that game, was running around here. And dude, Prompto was like my favorite character. I was like, dude, everybody needs a friend like that.
Yeah.
I had
But
a
yeah.
hard time watching him and not thinking he was Cloud though. He looks so much like Cloud.
He looked like a very skinny version of Cloud. Like if
Mhm.
Cloud never like became like a soldier.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Margaret's new to Final Fantasy, but she has watched her
It's
husband
not
Jeff
more
play
that
7.
I'm new to it. It's more that I didn't have hands-on playing with it. It's more that I watched my husband play it and helped him out along the way. Like if just try
The
to help.
puzzle aspects.
Yeah, the puzzle aspects. That's what I like. I've done that
I'll,
with a
I'll
lot, like with a lot of different games that have that kind of stuff. I'll sit down and watch them play.
can also
That
say
was one of
Advent Children.
What's that?
Can also say Advent Children.
Oh,
the
if you
movie.
watched the movie, have you seen the movie, Margaret?
I don't know.
That's pretty good. I liked
It's
it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I don't know. Did we watch it?
I mean, I had
No, I
Lisa
don't
watch it.
think
Lisa
we've
liked
seen
it.
I might have.
And then you got the
Maybe.
weird one, which was the was it like Spirit something?
Spirits Within.
Was that
A
was
Spirits
so
Within.
that was a Final Fantasy actual Final Fantasy?
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
only in name.
So yeah, when I was like when that came out a long time ago, I was like, is this part of the Final Fantasy franchise? Like I can't tell because it was just so different.
Dude, I
It was-
went, yeah.
Yeah, it
I
was
went to the
Alright.
movie theater to see it, and it was like, what the hell did I just watch when I left the theater? I'm like, that
Yeah.
was not Final Fantasy whatsoever.
No, I
It
think a
was
lot of
Titan
folks,
After Earth.
but way worse. Like Titan
Yeah.
AE was so good, and this was just so not. And
Yeah, it was like the terrible version of that,
yeah, and it's brought to you by Pepsi.
Yeah.
basically.
Oh yeah,
it
we
was-
talked about that earlier. We'll bring that up. Or
Yeah.
we talked about it in the stream about the random sponsors in the games. But
Yeah.
Jeff, you want to name your top 3?
Yeah, so unfortunately, mine is more or less going to be a carbon copy of Jeff's over there. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite. That game kind of changed. Actually, there's 2 games that kind of changed my life, I would say, and Squaresoft made both of them. Final Fantasy VII and a game that not too many people know or played called Xenogears. Both of them-
Xenogears, yes.
Yep.
Actually, my name Maogetsu is one of the main character's moves in the game.
One of phase moves.
But what's that?
It's one of phase moves, really? One of his
No,
combos?
it's not Phase. It's oh my gosh, Citan's.
Oh, okay.
But so 7 is my favorite. The story, just everything about it, man. Fighting the ultimate weapon was fun. The open world, I mean, everything about it was great, man. And 4, the story in it just did it for me. It was more like old school Final Fantasy. Really, it's very like basic and stuff, but the story just engrossed me so much. And then tactics, just all around, man. The story, the gameplay, everything in it was just amazing. I'd never played anything like that. And then I remember I was like, oh, another Final Fantasy game, cool. I started playing it, and I'm like, what the hell is this? This isn't the same at all. And once I started to play it, I was like, wow, this is really good. The combat and stuff is even more fun than, just regularly. But I would say those are my favorite 3.
Yep. I'll go with mine. Mine are none of those. I think I got. So one of mine is on Hirchkin's list. So Final Fantasy IX was my all-time favorite, and then second was 15, and then number 3 was 10. A lot of people give me slack for 15 because it almost felt like it was like unfinished, but I totally loved it. I loved the friendship build up between you and your 4 companions. And when I was playing 15, when I was recently playing, like not even recently, when I first started playing 15, I would actually get lost in the game, forgetting that I'm actually in the physical realm, as if you want to call it. But like I would literally get lost in that game, and I was like, man, I've never had this feeling since 9, because I used to get lost in 9, like forget that I'm even here. And just the way your characters between Prompto, Ignis, and Gladius, the way you guys would just interact, it literally felt like you were there with some people. Like you had that support. And I loved that about the game. I loved the travel. The music was awesome. Even on the radio, when you can unlock soundtracks and have like all the other game soundtracks on there, I was like, this is awesome. I was like, I could tune into like Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, and all that. And it was just, I was like, man, this is... And then the kind of open world aspect of it, especially when they came out with the update where you can actually take your Regalia off road. You just had to make it look like a monster truck. But
Yeah.
just overall, I was like, man, I haven't had this feeling since I played 9. And then number 3 is 10. The only reason is because when I started playing 10, it was kind of around a happier time of my life. And everybody has those moments where they think back of a like back on a good time in their life. They're like, man, I wish I could go back to that day. It was such a good day. I should have appreciated that day more. When I played 10, 10 was actually the first Final Fantasy game I ever played. My friend Tim came over, brought it over, and I played it, and I was like, oh my god, this game was amazing. And then my brother beat it before me, so I followed after him. And then my brother at the time borrowed Final Fantasy 9 from my friend Tim. His sister actually had 9 and 8. So I was like, oh, 9, 8, and 7, actually. So we borrowed 9. So when I beat 10, I went to 9. And I was like, to me, I thought 9 was better than 10. I was like, oh my god, 9. The music, I liked like the almost like the medieval kind of theme to it. And I really enjoyed the characters. There's so many characters, and the fact that you can like in 10 mix match your parties, especially like midway through the game when you had to like separate the groups to go off and do their own little quests. I was like, I loved it. I was like, oh my god! And then like I actually fell in love with the card game on their Tetramaster. I was like, this is awesome. And I thought that was the best game ever in Final Fantasy until I played 8. Honestly, 8's not one of my favorite games. I liked 8, but the card game in 8 was spectacular.
Triple try.
Oh my god, way better. But I mean, 9 will always have that spot. And like I said, with 10, like 9 brings me back to a happier time as well. And I was jamming the 9 soundtrack yesterday on my way to work. Not Alone's like that song.
8 would have been on my list if it wasn't for the shit like items and spell magic system.
The
just
gameplay like ruined
the
that
whole
game.
for me.
Yeah.
It did.
Oh, lots of stuff ruined 8. Lots of stuff ruined 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. What is your top 3?
So I'll do mine in reverse order for it. So my number 3 is gonna be Final Fantasy 4/2 because it was the first one I played. My parents got me my Super Nintendo when I was 8 years old, and they got me my copy of Super Mario World because, of course, it came with the console. Gradius 3 because I grew up playing space shooters and it was a blast. And I'm 99% sure my parents bought me Final Fantasy 4 because the cover looked cool. Because it was just like the red backdrop with the team advancing with the sword. And they're just going like, I don't know, the kid will like this. Who gives a shit? And by the way, how many like F-bombs can I drop on this thing?
Oh, as many as you want. We're not
We're
not kidding.
lot.
Have you not seen our YouTube channel? Have you not heard me live playing Call of Duty? It's bad.
Yeah. Just making sure.
No, you're good, man. Drop all the bombs.
Okay. And so they bought me that one, and that was like when I was playing my Super Nintendo games. That was the last one that I ended up playing because I wanted to play it through Mario. Loved it. Gradius 3 was a blast, and then I was like this Final Fantasy. I was like, the fuck is this? And the first time as a kid getting into a random battle encounter, like the old SNES version, it had like the zoom in where it would just like you have this really great melodic music, and then you get into a random battle, and the screen would just kind of do this like really rapid, really aggressive zoom in, and you hear this like loud alarm like this. Scared the shit out of me as a kid, and then I put it down for 6 months, didn't touch it, and then like once I stopped peeing my pants every time, I would try it again, and really just like let's really see what this thing's all about, and absolutely fell in love with it. It was the first game where I genuinely appreciated a soundtrack, and to the point, and this is gonna be a very old sentence I brought up during my podcast yesterday. I got my Home Alone 2 Talk Boy, put it up to my CRT TV with my Super Nintendo, and just let the overall theme play, and it filled up an entire cassette of just that, and absolutely adored the soundtrack. I love the too. It does, but like character development, I think does stop right around the halfway point. Once the moment that Cecil becomes a paladin, all major character development for that game just stops dead, and now it just becomes more about just like events happening. But it still has such a close place. Like Cecil Harvey is one of my favorite characters in video game history because of his redemption arc for the moment he transitions from Dark Knight to Paladin, and then that fight afterwards. All of it absolutely incredible. So 4 is always going to be while it is certainly flawed, and I think kind of your point earlier, Jeff, that it is probably the most basic or the most I think standard. But I also think at the time it set the precedence. So for me, I'll appreciate that. Number 2 is going to be Final Fantasy 6 because it took everything I loved about 4 and then just cranked all that shit up to 11 and just gave me like half characters that
mechs, man.
It had fucking mechs. It starts the game off in Magitech armor. It was my first real introduction.
It has the absolute best opening in any Final Fantasy. I'll give it that.
Clearly, very much so, and had probably one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters, Setzer, in there too, which I adored him. His soundtrack, the theme of loss and dealing with trauma, was absolutely incredible, and it just hit every level for me. The opera scene is still something I remember. Like that was my first real exposure to opera outside of a Bugs Bunny cartoon, and I remember like in that segment you have to know the all the lyrics to the opera, and I wrote it all out, and it was me like really kind of as a kid sitting down and reading it, going like, "Holy shit, this is deep."
Yeah, I had
And
to play that like 2 or 3 times, I think.
yeah, it's yeah, absolutely just blowing my mind. Kefka is, I think, probably one of the best villains in video game history too. Like just I can just literally spend hours talking about how much I absolutely adore that game, and just all the little secret stuff. The introduction of having hidden characters in there too, like finding Gogo and Amaro in there was really fun. And even though some of the characters aren't quite as maybe as useful in combat, like some of their stories were just so just like you just want to like just give like the characters like a hug, or like it'll be okay, it'll be fine.
Mhm.
And when you beat the game, yeah, it totally does. And it respected the audience too, which I really like. They gave you a lot of subtle hints for things without really telling your face about what's kind of going on or character motivations, and they just kind of assume you're smart enough to figure it out. And I really appreciated the game for that. And number one for me is going to be 14. And I got a little bit of flack from this yesterday because the idea of it being like, well, it's an MMO, so it has all this extra content. Like I don't, it's
No, that's respectable, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shadowbringers is probably the best MMO expansion I've ever played. 14 has brought me to tears multiple occasions. I think the soundtrack, every track is just an absolute masterpiece, and I have so many good memories of not only playing through the game but also making friends along the way with it too, and just connecting with the characters. Like my screen name Vanispheres is my Final Fantasy 14 character name, and like as much as I have great memories of clearing out raids or going through the story. I also still remember the times where I just got to sit down with my friends, like before like a patch launch would come out, and we would just sit in an area and just talk. And you change out of your armor into casual clothing, and you could just sit and just be. And that's something you don't really see a whole lot. Like certainly you can't do that in the single player games, and I know you can probably do that in WoW, but who gives a shit? But but I think the 14 community is also so welcoming, so warm too, and it just does a lot right. And it also doesn't require you to spend every waking moment playing the game. You can absolutely do that, and the game rewards you for that. But if you just want to be somebody who comes in when there's new content and then you kind of back off and go play something else, they encourage it. And I think there's something really special about that, where it's a game that doesn't force shit down your throat. You can just go at your own pace. You can have fun with it. If you just want to craft all day, you can do that. And there's full story arcs for every crafter, and that's brilliant. And the whole thing feels like a labor of love too. So.
Didn't Final
Yeah,
Fantasy 14 didn't have the thing where if you leveled up to a certain level within a certain time, they'd add time to your subscription? Did they do that?
I didn't see that. No, I know with WoW you can actually use your in-game currency to buy time.
Okay.
But
I think I remember when I first started playing Final Fantasy, I hit a level so quick, and it's like, oh, we added like 5 days onto your subscription. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
And I think I don't, and quote me if I'm wrong. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think I heard you mention something, saying something about like it's free up to level 60 or something like that.
Yeah, so the producer Yoshi P is so confident that if you give this game a shot that you will love it, that you can play through the entire base game with every character class all the way up to level 60. So that also will get you through Heavensward, which is
No
the first
shit.
expansion pack. Yeah, and they just know you'll come back and work your way through Stormblood and then play Shadowbringers. And they just announced Endwalker a few weeks ago, and it's just it's such a celebration of the franchise. It's a thank you to fans, and yeah, it's always gonna have a special place. So much so that it actually is like I have the Red Mage logo also like on my arm. Like it's a game that will be with me forever, and like I just have so much like just love for this game too. Like, and I can take long breaks from it too and come back, and it just feels like you're just saying hello to an old friend.
Yeah, I'm about to do that. I'm about to come back to it, but I just heard like future Nova Circuit content on YouTube, guys. We're gonna play some Final Fantasy. I mean, Van's already told me the server he's in, so I'm definitely gonna create a character in his server. I know I already have my other character in the Goblin server with my friend Robert, who I work with. And I'm part of his free company in there, I believe. The Misfits of Yes. So
I've heard nothing but good things from for that game. They definitely improved upon 11, where they had a lot of issues with that.
Mhm.
And even more recently, I've seen 2, 3, 4 of my friends just in the last couple months start playing 14. At least one of them, I think, had never played a Final Fantasy game before.
Hey, Pseudo. Yeah, and actually, somebody in chat right now, Mr. Pseudonymous. Again, just an example of the social connection you make. I met Mr. Pseudonymous through whenever I would stream 14, I would just post a message in the dungeon party chat, like, "Hey guys, I'm streaming this on twitch.tv/Banisters_. Don't forget the underscore." And that's how I met Pseudonymous too. And she's an excellent player. She does all the Savage Raid stuff, and just you end up just meeting great people there. But yeah, to your point, like 11 was solid, and 11 I think was more of like the traditional like Japanese MMOs of here's a bunch of shit, fucking figure it out because we're not telling you how to do stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
it was
remember 11.
impossible.
I had 11
Yeah.
on the Xbox 360. I remember 11.
I remember selling it too when I worked at GameStop. But then they decided with 14 it is much more of a guided experience, and it just gives you the chance. Like the smartest thing on the world is that you only need to create one character, and just you get to just have that experience. I think why I'm so attached to my character and why Vanny is my branding through everything is because it like I've been through so much with this character that I just can't see either changing the name. I can't even like struggle to change his appearance. Like they give you options to change your character's race and gender and all that stuff, and will think about it every once in a while, and then I just can't do it. I'm just so insanely attached to my little cat boy Red Mage that I like even just changing it to human characters. Like that's not him. Like, I've never been that attached to a character before.
That is my favorite part about 14 when I was playing is your cosmetics. Like in most games, like for example, WoW. Like WoW, like certain gear was best gear, but it never really matched. Final Fantasy was just like, nah, bruh, we're gonna give you really good gear, and you can make this look pretty on your character. Like you can, they made gear matter, but they also made the aesthetic and the what you look like in the gear matter. So they were just like, make your character look awesome. That was my favorite part. I'm like, oh, I don't have to look ugly with not matching armor, and they're like, no, you don't, no, not at all. And I was like, oh, that's cool.
And they also have mini games in there too that are just
Yes.
designed for like just to see like can you match the fashion theme of the week. Like that's fucking brilliant. Like adding in Mahjong Triple Triad ended up being a major factor in the game too. And now they're about to add in basically like Stardew Valley to Endwalker. Like you're gonna be able to make your own farm and just chill. Like that's brilliant. And
be
So
safe on the
Final
road.
Fantasy 14, it correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't it kind of have like a complete rework to it? Like the game launched and then like it wasn't that successful, and then they completely like redid the whole game.
Yeah, it was a 1.0 was an absolute disaster, and it was not fun to play. It required an insane rig at the time in order to run it, and it was basically kind of like the crisis of MMOs. Like it was like, yeah, you need a beast of a game, but really, this is what you're getting for it. Like it was kind of lame.
Right. And I know Shadowbringers brought the game to like the next level, and that's
when
where
I
they
joined.
kind of like, that's kind of when it like took off and like became this. Actually, I think it kept Square Enix afloat for a number of years. But would your opinion still be the same on that being your favorite before Shadowbringers?
Yes. Before Shadowbringers. So I'm realistically at the time it was so just as a little bit of history for you. Yeah, when it came out it was a disaster, and instead of just dropping the game completely, they did make it free to play for the players, which I thought was a very nice move. They got in a brand new leader, so they got producer director Yoshi P. And who just revamped the entire game, but also did like a world-ending event. So they had a calamity happen, and then used that as a story. So like they had the end of the world be a part of the game, and then
that's neat.
So when A Realm Reborn kicks off, like it becomes the aftermath of that, and they still do make references to 1.0 in the early part of the stories, but then over time it starts to kind of form its own. I would actually say that the game really comes into its own much more with Heavensward. People do complain a lot about the base of Realm Reborn game because it does have a lot of kind of like fluff to it. I personally didn't care because I'm a fanboy and it just didn't matter. I was like, yes, just give me more content. I don't care. There's like post Realm Reborn content. There's literally an entire story arc where you're just helping your friends fucking move. That's it. Like it's like helping them move a couch. That's it. It is objectively insanely boring, but I did not give a rat's ass because I knew
more
it was going to lead me
content,
to
please.
yeah. it led to Heaven's Word, and Heaven's Word was absolutely like that's where the game really like okay, they got their shit together and just told an amazing story. And then Stormblood came out, which was like, all right, it's fine. Stormblood, it was still a fun game to play, but then they just really just knocked it out of the park with Shadowbringers. I think they've also promoted Shadowbringers a lot harder. Like when they brought in freaking Spider-Man to like be in commercials for it, like like they were really proud of their work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Tom Holland was hilarious.
Another thing. So Rob, who plays it at
Yep.
my job, so we were watching, like, of course, your trailer that you watched, and I was like, holy crap, that actually got me amped to come back to the game. But he also showed me Diamond Weapons back or whatever, and like even
5.5.
stronger. Yeah, so he showed me some party running a battle against it, and I was like, I almost cried. I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever been looking at. I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. I was like, wow. And then he showed me this other thing. It was I can't remember the boss battle's name, but it was a near automata
Nier
boss. The one throwing up buildings from the ground, and you had to dodge them. And if you got hit by the building, it was like an instant kill. And he was showing me that. And I was like, I went right back to my computer, install. I was like, I got to get in this. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, oh my god. I was like, wow. And then Rob was just like, you gonna come back to the guild? And I was like, yeah, but I was like, I already have a really cool guy that I met, and I'm gonna probably play a lot of time with him too. Another cool aspect that I love about 14 back when I was playing is your free company, which is guilds pretty much. There was an area, now correct me, Van, if I'm wrong, but there's an area where your guild can have their own house, like your own guild house.
Housing districts. Yep.
Yes, that is the most awesome thing ever, because boy is my room awesome. Well, at least I remember my room being awesome. But you can also and you can actually make your room private where no one can come in it. Like you can just be like, no, this is my thing. I was like, cool. I'm in a place where my free company they own a big mansion. And I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. I had so much time, man.
Yeah.
The diamond weapon may be easy, but
it's
it looked
easy.
good.
Yeah.
It looked good.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, this looked good.
Yeah, Ruby Weapon actually out of all the fights is probably my favorite one. But yeah, they do have they did release the diamond content or the weapon content from 7. In Stormblood there was Final Fantasy 12 content. Fran is actually a character in the story arc for that, and Ramza is as well, and Delita. So
is there actually like story content to the, or is it just raid?
No, it's absolutely story content.
So the story symbol, I think, Van, you can tell me if I'm wrong again. If you're following the story mode, the symbol on the quest thing looks different. It looks like his tattoo.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to follow a story, you go talk to those quests. And if you're wanting to do side stories, they just look normal circles. I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And that's awesome too, because man, you could side quest the hell out of that game.
Yep. And Sudo wants to talk about Ishgard Restoration. So that was one of the coolest things they did too. Is like it was something I think WoW has failed at pretty miserably, which is just every time WoW releases an expansion, the content that happened previously doesn't connect to the next one.
Not at all.
Which is lame. Like they had garrisons at one point, which is a great idea, but then they just drop it at the end. Or you get like the relic weapons in the last good one, the one before Battle for Azeroth. What's the one with a green cover? I can't remember. Anyway, there's one where you got like
Pandaria?
No, it's after. It was like the second last expansion.
Was it Burning Crusade was the second one, right?
No. It was way after that.
I can't remember.
Lich King, Cataclysm, right? Was it Cataclysm?
No,
it was
it's
after
after that.
Listen, there's a lot of expansions.
There are. Let me look this up.
I stopped playing after Lich King.
Legion.
Yeah, same here.
Legion.
So Legion, like you get to unlock all these cool weapons, but then they're kind of useless after that point once Battle for Azeroth came out. But one thing I really liked was that there was a huge battle that happens in Heaven's Word that does absolutely demolishes huge chunks of the city. And instead of just letting it be like, okay, well, you just kind of naturally assume the story will just kind of like take care of it on its own, they create world events where you can just help recreate and Ishgard. And once it's done, you actually now have a new area of player housing for it too. And not only that, instead of having to wait like the second that when Endwalker comes out, like people just kind of assume that once that next expansion comes out, like it's gonna be a mad race to get property there. They're actually gonna let people. They're gonna wait until the first patch comes out for it, and then you can buy property. So they're actually letting people just experience the story, go at their own pace, and then they will incorporate the housing structure for it, which is really really cool. But they incorporate that kind of stuff into the lore for it too. So now it is a reason to kind of go back into older territories because now you can get the great housing for it. and it's gonna be great. It's always super expensive, but if you have larger free companies, you can start saving up money for it, and it becomes an event for it too, which is really cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've
And
heard a lot of people complain about I don't know anything about it, but I've heard a lot of people complain about the housing system in 14. I don't know if it's like
hi, Vanessa.
acquiring the stuff or keeping it, or like I don't know exactly what the thing is, but I hear a lot of complaints about the housing
Keeping is
system or
hard
whatever.
sometimes. If
Hey,
you don't,
girl.
yeah. Yeah, it can be a bit of a thing if you don't play a whole lot. So finding property can be a pain in the ass. It can get very expensive. If you depending on how big of a house you want to get, and if people aren't checking in on a somewhat routine basis, you can lose your property, and then it'll open up to somebody else. Which again does make sense if property is very limited, and there's somebody who bought maybe one of the larger properties where they can build a mansion, and then nobody from there ever shows up. Then it's a waste of property. Get rid
Like
of
what
it,
kind
somebody
of
else.
time span are you talking though? Like how long before like your property is vacant?
I don't. It's a genuine. It's not like people can take a week off or something like that. It's something definitely longer than that. I want to say it's like
Uh,
90 days.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if I go back, my stuff's probably gone. I think Kayla, who's the free company leader, she mentioned something like if people aren't showing up to the because we had a mansion. She's like she's gonna vacate rooms for people that are wanting space there. So I definitely am 100% sure I lost my room.
Yeah. If no one enters the free house within 45 days, it's demolished. I'm sorry. So it's half the time.
I mean that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, that's a good amount of
Yeah.
time though.
Yeah. So it's again, it does make sense for that too, and it does make it a neat status symbol. But there's entire YouTube channels I've seen where it's almost like a home and garden show where people will walk in and you can just see all of these stuff, and you do get an email notice, where you just get to see people's designs, and it does range from the sort of like the appropriate for like that style of housing that you have for it, all the way up through like modern designs for it. Again, like they've done such a good job. The one thing, like I do think there are like pros and cons to every MMO. Like the one that's probably like the
Yeah,
biggest
absolutely.
is PvP. Like there is PvP in 14. It's not nearly to the same sort of level as WoW is, but that's really the only thing I've ever seen where it's just not quite that. I think to me 14, especially Shadowbringers, it's borderline perfect to me.
Yeah, I've like MMOs. I've always been a PvE player. I've never
Yeah.
got into PvP and arena and all that stuff. I've always just liked PvE. So
Yeah.
I
And-
liked 14 what I played of it. It's just it kind of fell off because there's just so many games, and like MMOs do take a lot of time commitment to like go anywhere in the game. So, but it's definitely something I want to come back to.
Yeah, it's something that, like I said, the times I've taken breaks from it, I've taken very long breaks from the game, and then I'll come back, and it feels like you're just saying hi to an old friend, and it's so incredible. And every time I've ever jumped into a dungeon, I say like, hey guys, it's been a while since I played. Like I cannot honestly tell you if somebody ever made like a grunt sound or something like that. It's usually somebody saying like welcome back.
Mhm.
And
I also need to see if I can transfer, because I have character it's on PlayStation. I need to see if it's possible to transfer.
Oh, it totally is.
I think it is. Yeah, I think they said
Okay,
that. It's even
cool.
on their website, I believe.
Nice.
Yeah, it totally is. And
There you go.
yeah, it's great. And they just released a update for 2, so now it looks even better on the PlayStation 5, and now it runs at the same level as a PC player now. Has it at. So it's like I said, I can literally spend like forever talking about 14, because it just everything that game does is just it's just one more thing. Like, wow, you did that just for the fans. Like that's so cool.
Well, if
I
you
mean,
guys
they
hype it
definitely
up
listened.
anymore, I'm gonna have to play.
Nah, he
Yeah.
broke up when he said
Yeah.
it.
No, I mean just the fact that like they have like whole story arcs that are just for comedy. So I usually end my streams by saying I tip my hat to you as only a Manderville man can, which is a reference to one of the characters in 14 who's just this big just fucking doofus of a character, and they're just played out as just these like almost like these just dramas where you're just watching a detective like solving mysteries, but he's really stupid and super naive, and it's just dumb fun. But then they also are smart enough to give him such depth too that he's not really dumb, he's just super positive. That's all it is. and very much almost kind of like a Mr. Magoo sort of thing, where just good things kind of like randomly will happen to him, and even when he gets into trouble, it's kind of playful fun, but it's just done for no other reason, just to kind of give you some joy, and like that's again when I think of other stuff like WoW or even other MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online or Guild Wars, something like that, like they all have their strengths absolutely, and some stuff better than 14, but just to have something else like that, just to like have some fun with it, and just to be able to say like, do you want just to like watch a dumbass Inspector Clouseau solve like a thief ring? Like, sure, and also go up against zombies. Like, I guess, like sure, and then you give it a shot and like, oh my god, this is the funniest fucking thing I've seen all day. So yeah, they just kind of keep releasing new content for it, and it's just like I said, like it has brought me to like genuine tears. I used to do YouTube videos, and I posted my reaction to the end of 14 Shadowbringers, and it is just me crying for like 20 minutes because it was just so touching, and having like NPCs who will talk to you as their family, as if they're family, just like absolutely just brings just absolutely. I cried. Like I cried last week playing through the. To Suda's point, the diamond weapon fight is not difficult, but the story content at the end of it is fucking amazing, and it hits your soul so hard.
Yeah, so that was one thing, like I said about 9 and 10, is like when I was playing 14 with Rob, you could easily get lost in that game too and forget that you're in real life, because like I said, there's so many aspects to the game. Now it's not as like deep and hardcore as like when we play Phantasy Star Online 2. It's not as crazy because there's so many things. Like it gave us a headache trying to teach Margaret, but like
Dude,
like
that game is a fucking headache.
The cool thing about Final Fantasy 14 is there is a lot of stuff to it, but it doesn't make it difficult to find those paths, and it makes it real easy for you to figure things out. It's not like throwing so much at you at once. When I was in there, I was snap. I already knew what I needed to do. I already knew who I needed to talk to. You go to your kind of like World of Warcraft. You go to your trainer. You do those quests, all that stuff. It was fantastically fun. I loved it. And like I said, I would get lost into it at times. There was times where I was taking my whole shift at work, just like if there was quiet, I'm just like gone. I was like, someone sent me a message, like, oh shit. Yeah. No, it's a good game. It's definitely like I like Vanny. I could probably talk about it all day too, because I do have some really good memories. Because I played it for a good like 2 months, and then my subscription ran out, and I just forgot to do it. And I think at that time I jumped to Phantasy Star Online with Mills when we were starting to bring Nova Circuit stuff back. So that's why I never went back. But it's if I just like him trying to sell the game, I could totally sell the game too. It's really fun, guys. I'm all for us building a Nova Circuit like group in that game too. It'd be fun.
So let me ask you this: like, do they have plans to keep 14 going for this foreseeable future?
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah,
because what they did to 11.
At least just like keeping the story expansions and everything like online on the servers and keep the servers going.
Yeah,
or are they going to keep like churning out content as well?
Yeah, because they closed the 11 servers, right? They shut those down. They're all gone.
11 still goes.
Is it still going? I thought they said they shut it down.
They probably did.
But
okay,
the servers still up.
Because I tried to play it again on my Xbox 360, and it was like, nah, bruh. We're not up. But maybe it's just Xbox servers. Maybe it's just on PC.
Yeah, that's Xbox. Like, if you play on PC, I'm pretty sure it's still up.
I think PC's still up.
But also one thing that happens is like even if a game's starting to die because of a server issue, a lot of times somebody else will pick it up on another server and just be like, here it is, guys, have at it.
I mean, honestly, can they go any further than 14 though on an MMO? I mean, and plus, like with the major updates they're coming out with, would they really want to just make another MMO or just stick with 14 as being the MMO? I would think they would just stick with 14.
They'll probably do it eventually, but
But I think it'll be like 11, where it's going to be like the content will, the servers will still stay up. Like I just pulled it right now, and the 11 server, there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, over 10 servers still up.
Oh, okay, that's cool then. It'd be cool to trickle back into that game as well.
Yeah, because they actually had it on sale over the holidays, where they had on sale where you get the entire collection for $5. I was like, all right, I'll spend $5. I never installed it, but it's still around. But
that's how I got Shadowbringer. I got it on sale. They were doing something where you got all the expansions for it was a really good price. Even Robert was like, dude, it's like I think I got it for like I want to say $20. I think when I got it, like
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, and it was awesome. And then of course I forgot my Lodestone
Or let's
username
look
and
at, yeah.
password. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god, and it was like on an old email, and that was back in the day when I didn't care about security questions, so my answers were just me slapping the keyboard. So
Yeah.
I had to contact Square Enix and be like, hey man, I promise you that's me. And they ended up, I ended up talking to them on the phone, and they ended up getting my account back. I was able to verify like through other email chains.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh.
But to kind of answer your earlier question for too, so when Endwalker was announced, there had been rumors that the producer Yoshi P was going to be leaving at some point, and he had been in interviews before and asked, like, hey, if Blizzard ever reached out to you and said, would you leave Square to go work on World of Warcraft? He's like, I'd leave in a heartbeat, and that scared the shit out of a lot of players because he was the heart and soul of this game. Like, he's been like such an amazing leader for this project. And when Endwalker was announced, like, again, people were a little nervous at the time, like I very much was too, thinking like Endwalker sounds very final, and even the trailer for it does sound like it's the end. And he does clarify two things during that announcement. One, which was this is the end of this arc. So if you're like an anime fan, which sounds like everyone here is just kind of imagine if this is the end of season 1. And he says like, this is my life's work. As long as Square will let me do this, I will make Final Fantasy 14 for the rest of my life. And so that, like, you could almost hear the entire internet just get this huge sigh of relief.
Oh, that's good, man. Stay committed to it because he's not doing a bad job.
No, and then he's actually one of the producers now on Final Fantasy 16 as well too. So
oh, okay, yeah, I saw the trailer for that, and I got excited. I was just like,
yeah,
that was something I was wanting to bring up.
Yeah, we were at work, and it was on. We turned on the press conference in one of the conference rooms that wasn't being used, and me, Matt, and Jack sat in there and watched it, and I was just like, when I walked out of there, I looked at Mark and Mills, and I was like, guys, I don't know if I can wait. I was like, it looks so
I've had to
good.
rewatch it a couple times recently too.
Look good. I'm so excited. Man, Square Enix does not shy away from making stuff look so beautiful. I love the colors, the music, everything, man.
Yeah. So yeah, really excited for that. But yeah, it was a huge comfort to know that at least for right now. So what's going to happen, at least with Endwalker, is so like in the previous one. So like when Shadowbringers came out, you play through 5.0, and that'll be like the major arcs of the story, and then 5.1, 2, and 3 will sort of be the end of the story. For like it'll wrap up with Shadowbringers, and then 4 and 5 will be the start, the build up for the next expansion. So in this case, Endwalker. And in this case, because this is designed to be essentially be the season finale for this arc. Everything, like the entire Final Fantasy Endwalker story, ends in 6.0, and then 6.1 and going forward will be the add-ons for the next arc. And that's also where they're going to have the Ishgard restoration projects, and like people get the new property. And I want to say, I don't actually. I take it back. I don't remember. I think it's supposed to be with 6.0 is when they're going to be launching the farming stuff too.
Okay.
Which again, like, is just something silly and fun to do. That I actually, as much as I'm awful at Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing and Harvest Moon, all that stuff. Like, I'll still play it. I will still try to build my own farm and see if I can grow some radishes and see if I can.
Of course you will. It's Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was always good at man. Animal Crossing was my thing, and so was Stardew Valley. I loved Stardew Valley. Yeah. But that's exciting. They're bringing that aspect to Final Fantasy 14 as well. Yeah,
so and just meant to be casual too.
Yeah, it just adds something, like it's nothing that's going to pressure you into doing it. Like you said, it's going to be something casual, which is nice. I'm not like, oh man, I have to build my farming skills to pass this quest that I got to do. That's nice. So
yeah. So and they just make me feel like one of the coolest things. Like, have you ever gotten married in the game?
No, I have not.
Yeah,
the only thing I ever got married in was Fable.
Oh really? Yeah. So in 14, if you they actually do treat it not as if you're like you the player are getting married, so they just have like a quick ceremony. There is a ceremony, but they are doing the assumption that you actually met somebody.
Oh wow!
Like you met a significant partner. So what you end up doing then is there's an entire quest line for it where they actually have your two characters, and you have to do it together. Go to different areas of the game that you would have gone had you with the assumption that you've been playing since the beginning, or maybe at a certain story point, and you do get to go to these locations together. Have some cutscenes say, do you remember this time when you fought Rama here, or when you fought this thing, or when you maybe like here's a place of major importance, just to kind of remind you of the journey you've been playing together that maybe led to a real life romance. And then you actually get to have a ceremony, and they give you an opportunity to even write your own vows.
Oh, that's awesome!
And actually get the presentation.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
you know what that reminds me of? You guys remember The Office? You guys ever watch that? Remember when Michael Scott proposed to Holly? and he took
Yeah.
her through memory lane. That's exactly what that is. That's
That's-
cool though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they let you even choose like color schemes for it. They who you want to officiate the wedding, a male, female, or a Moogle, and like
Moogle,
how you
That
every
might
want.
be the Moogle.
That's when my character got married too. We had a Moogle do it.
I'm about to tell my
And-
wife we did our wedding wrong.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with this?
Yeah. So then you get a mount for it. So you do get a 2-person chocobo for it. You get
shit.
the game will remember your anniversary too. So if you go back to where you got married, you get rewards for your anniversary. But I ended up getting divorced afterwards.
I thought I was about to ask you if you could get
Yes.
divorced.
No, yes, you can absolutely get divorced. So which makes sense if your significant other and they do allow same sex couples and all that stuff too.
Nice.
And if they ever stop playing, or maybe there was some sort of like falling out, you do have an option. You can just go back to the crafter and give them back your rings, and you can either choose to buy your rings or you can make them yourself if your jewel crafting and goldsmithing's high enough too, and just make your own rings.
So what happens with the loot? Do you guys gotta split it 50-50, or do you guys
Yeah.
go through court?
No, they let you keep it, thankfully.
It's like you go
Uh,
through custody battles for chocobos, stuff like that.
Yep.
That-
And
that's
chocobo
how-
racing is in there.
Oh,
That's how they
really?
ended
Oh,
up
yes.
with some
Yeah,
like
that's
really
right.
big moguls.
Yep, chocobo
It's,
racing is in there.
So what? Go back to the double chocobo though. Like, is that just a bigger chocobo?
It does look a little bit bigger than mine, but also it has a lot of barding onto it too. But it just also has a double-seated mount on there, or
So
double-seated
it's more of a saddle.
saddle. Yeah, but also it's a white chocobo with like some nice feathers and stuff on. I mean, it's like visually it's stunning to look at. But yeah, that's just just something kind of fun you can do with it too. So
Interesting.
Is it
yeah.
as stunning as your amazing room that you're in?
my office, yeah, it's
I know, I
close.
keep looking at his and looking at my background. I'm like, he is so nice and neat back there. Look at that and look
Yeah,
at
why
mine.
you're flexing on the whole crew here, man? Look at I got a green screen hiding my rabbit in
Yeah.
my wife's office. No, yeah, he actually showed
looks
his
good.
stuff on his stream, man. It's awesome, and he like I thought it was cool that I owned the original copy of Final Fantasy for the NES. I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, it's got a little bit of ding up here. Go ahead, Vanny. Do you want to whip out your
Yep.
amazingness real quick? You got to see
It's
this.
probably got like
You want to try
So
rephrasing
box-
that one real quick? But okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was both options actually. It's like how many Twitch points do I need to donate to get both? Like check this out, Herchkin, you're gonna be like, what the fuck, man? And you gotta. I was just like, when you showed it on stream yesterday, I was like, you son of a. I was like, why do you gotta make me feel bad?
So just to show again, complete inbox.
Yo.
Yep.
Everything, Jeff. Everything.
yeah.
Yep.
No, that's actually not a hard buy. Maybe even now.
This wasn't
Um,
expensive.
No, like Final Fantasy 1 sealed, like I think I had a chance to buy it at like
Oh, it looks so good.
$80.
You want to trade copies?
Nope.
He said nope.
I promise,
even have to think
mine's
about it.
just as good. I promise.
Yeah.
Forget the one you saw on the stream.
Yeah. Of course.
This
Welcome
is
back.
the one I'm interested
Welcome
in. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
I love that game.
That one looks good
Also,
too, man.
FF4/2, like
Oh
that's
my
gorgeous
God.
too. That right there, that's the moneymaker.
All right, I'll give
right
you my
there,
I'll give you my
FF3.
PO box.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and send them here.
But Final Fantasy 4 had two of my favorite characters in like the entire franchise. Was Palom and Porum,
Yeah.
the twin casters. Like, in my opinion, like if you go through all the Final Fantasy games in general, like to me, I'm pretty sure are like the most powerful magic users in the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Like if you just go through like the main core games.
Yeah.
Kefka was
Based
4,
on
right?
stats
That
and
was
stuff.
the boss in 4, right? Kefka, whatever.
6.
6?
Six.
Okay. Because
Four is gold beds.
Because Kefka didn't Kefka look like a clown?
Yeah.
Okay,
It was
making sure I have the
Ahsoka,
right
basically.
making sure I have the right bad guy in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I do remember that. Okay. Sorry, it was just bothering me thinking about it. I was like, this
Yeah, that's something. Yeah, it's I think that's just one of the great things about the franchise for you. Like I am the very as much as I do adore this franchise to death, and I absolutely do. Like I also can acknowledge that they're also far from perfect too. Like each one of them has their own flaws for it too. Like I think 8 has a couple of merits for, but like I could literally probably say 2 things, which is graphics and soundtrack. That's it.
Yep.
I have
Oh,
major
the
issues with
soundtrack is awesome.
yeah. 13,
Gunblade.
same thing. Gunblade is cool. That's okay. 3 things. So I do think that the introduced the concept of Gunblade, which they brought back and I think perfected in 14 with the Gunbreaker class. But the same 13 visually stunning, has a great soundtrack. I hate the game. I think it's terrible.
It's a garbage game.
What he
I
said,
can't say enough
it
bad
looks
stuff
good.
about
I
it.
thought lightning looked cool. I was like, oh my god. And then the cutscenes looked really good. But yeah, I mean, I mentioned yesterday during Vanny's stream in the chat that I'm gonna go back and play it because I always like to try to give Final Fantasy games second chances because I just replayed 8 and I don't like 8. But like going back and playing it, I have a little bit more of appreciation for it. So I'm gonna give 13 that chance. But the thing is, it wasn't that long ago since I played 13.
Yeah.
And the only reason I'm gonna try it is because Tyrone, the Nova Circuit people know Tyrone. He used to be one of our members. He's one of my best friends. He is 13's like his thing. Like he loves it. Like the TCG game, I let him have all the lightning cards. I was like, here, you can have her.
I don't know how people do it though. I try to play that game 3 times because let's see, like the first time I played it, I just lost interest or something, or we got rid of the PS3 when it came out. And the second time, I think I tried to just give it a chance of its own and just push further through the game after getting another PlayStation 3 again. And then I played it a third time because I just hated the game that second time through. One of my cousins said, like, you got to play it through like a certain point and then it gets a lot better. It didn't. It literally didn't. It's one of the, to me, it's the worst game in the franchise.
And they came out with they came out with 13.2 and then they came out with what was it, Type 0?
Lightning Returns.
Lightning Returns?
No. Yeah, Lightning Returns.
Okay,
and then Lightning Returns 2?
It ended with Lightning Returns.
Yeah, and someone, I think on Vanny's stream yesterday, someone said, yeah, Lightning Returns was good. And then Vanny made a good point, like, oh, okay, so we had to wait for the third, like, version of this game for it to actually be, like, good or something like that.
Oh, that was Roz.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did not care. I didn't care for any of the 13
I
games.
didn't even give the rest of them a chance.
Yeah.
I'll never touch them.
Same. I did not give any of them, you know.
What's up, Darklight?
Yeah. Oh man, speaking of Darklight anime, I checked out his stream yesterday. Found him from the Double Toasted group. That guy.
Yeah.
That guy is great, man. He was playing some classic Sega games. That's fine. I'm about to go get more beer. But Darklight anime guys, he's one of the streamers that I wanted to say we're going to recommend.
Followed him.
Yeah, definitely give him a follow, man. He's trying to get that 100. That 100. I'm Carnegie66 by the way, Darklight. That's me, baby. Man, me and him were having a good time last night, like ripping on some of the games, making jokes, talking about Little Caesars.
He was like, "Go follow him."
No, he was. Oh man, he's entertaining as hell, man.
He was like, "He's so cool. Go check him out." And I'm like, "Okay." And I totally forgot last night because we were doing our thing.
Dude, his stream was hilarious, man. And he was just trying Sega games he's never played before, and I was cracking jokes in this chat, making him laugh, and he was making me laugh. His Harriet Tubman joke on a game that he was mentioning, I like died laughing. I was like, oh my god. I was like, I didn't want to say I was thinking it, but he did it for us, and I was like, thank you. And he's a huge anime fan, which is awesome, and he has mentioned interest in joining us in a podcast in the future as well. So I know Jeff Hirschkin and both Jeffs are huge anime guys, so those are definitely gonna be people. Yeah, he's definitely go check him out, guys. Him, Killabish.
What's the latest anime you guys have been watching?
I'm current with a lot of stuff, man.
I just started
Boruto,
Demon Slayer.
My Hero.
I just started.
There's nothing right now. There's not. My Hero just came back. Other than that, there's not. Everything's on break.
Vanny, do you watch anime?
I'm starting to get back a little bit into it. I finished watching Devilman Crybaby a few weeks ago.
Dude, that was so fucking good.
It was amazing. Yeah, I absolutely love that. I still listen to the soundtrack to this day.
Yeah.
And, there's a couple of animes. I finished watching. Finally got around to finishing One Punch Man season 2, which was it's fine. It was all right.
Thought.
Nope.
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I think we got to disconnect for a second.
Yep, you're good.
There we go.
And what is one I just started? Promised Neverland. I saw the first couple episodes on the Discord watch party, which was crazy. That show was fucking nuts. So yeah, I'm kind of flip flop back into some stuff. I want to finish Tokyo Ghoul at some point and Sword Art as well.
Yeah, I'm a
Love
huge
to
Sword
watch
Art's my
that one.
favorite. Sword Art's my favorite anime. I
Oh,
love it.
look.
Tokyo Ghoul, I watched like a few
I made this
episodes,
for my
but
son.
never finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
One of
awesome.
my employees a couple jobs ago was a huge Tokyo Ghoul fan, and finally got around to watching that one.
Yeah, my
Prob-
son's a big Tokyo Ghoul fan.
Say that 5 times
Times,
I
yeah.
fast.
know, right?
Man,
So
Devilman absolutely kicked my ass though. So good.
So I got
So-
back on the Final Fantasy thing real quick. I wanted to ask Vanny, what are your 3 top Final Fantasy songs from all the franchise? Just the top 3 that you probably listen to the most when you ever turn on like a mix.
It's gonna be the Oath from 8, which is when Squall is giving like his big speech, kind of rally the troops for it. It's an amazing track, and they did an orchestral version. At one point, there's a remix soundtrack called Phytos Lusek and
Mhm.
Vikos Vinasek, and they did
Oh.
a updated track of the Oath, and it's unbelievably incredible for that one. Adore that. Number 2 is probably going to be Finding Friends from 6, which is the in the world of Ruin when you're trying to find all you're just running around the airship trying to find all your friends again.
Yeah, I think I remember that one.
Yeah, just really just a great great one. And number 1 is probably going to be Weight of the World, the Final Fantasy 14 remixed version.
Oh.
It was unbelievable. Like I still listen to it. It's my ringtone. Like I've never even finished Near Automata, but that remix of Weight of the World, where it takes the song itself, it incorporates the Final Fantasy prelude into it as well, and just turns into this just amazingly epic. Like listen to it that song maybe about once a week minimum. But also like I love the primal stuff too. Like the Final Fantasy 14's music is so good that the composer formed his own metal band to do covers of his own shit, which is
Oh,
pretty
really?
baller.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
that's
no.
akin to like what the Nobuo Uematsu did with like the Black Mages.
Yep.
I need to check into that. I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah, the Primals, they just released a new album too called Scions and Sinners, where it's a mix of a piano remixes and then the band themselves, the Primals, doing their metal versions of stuff. And yeah, I've listened. I'm currently obsessed with one of their songs called I was get the exact name of it wrong. A Long Fall. Absolutely, just cannot stop listening to it. Yeah, I'll put post the link in the Twitch feed. But like, yeah, I cannot stop listening to it. And again, just to show again, just as much of a love letter this franchise is to its fans. The background of the music video has somebody dressed up as one of the races of characters called the Asians, and they're doing dances from the game that you can unlock. Which again, just it's a nice little Easter egg for folks too, including the Hildebrand dances. So
Cool.
it's an amazing track. I listen to that song right now twice a day easily.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and save this one.
Yeah, I'm on board. Sign me up. I
Yeah.
gotta get on this.
Yeah, the only like I mentioned before, like with 14, like I think there's like 2 genuine flaws in the game, and it's actually not even in the game itself. Love to the Edge is great.
Yeah, I do know To the Edge.
Yeah. The initial registration through the Lodestone and Mog Station is a humongous pain in the ass, and it has no reason to be that complicated. And the Mog Station store, so buying the optional like glamour items for it is ridiculously expensive. And I will say like 14 does give you a lot of free shit, like tons and tons of content you can just earn in game. But they do have some stuff on there like Cloud's motorcycle you can purchase for $30.
Can't you purchase the regalia from 15 as well, or something like that?
That's an in-game event one. So
Oh,
I do
is
have the
it?
regalia,
Okay.
but it was a 15 event that they had where you actually got to fight alongside Noctis and go fight Garuda with Noctis, which was really, really fun. But then once you're done with it, you get Noctis's clothes and his car, which also does fly too, and it does turn into the flying mount too.
I think Robert has that. I think I saw him in that.
Yep. Next month is the Final Fantasy 14 Fan Festival as well, and because of COVID, of course, it's going to be virtual. So, but the Primals will be performing a concert there, which is going to be really cool. But they're also releasing a new mount too that you can purchase, and I don't care. They could be $100. I will gladly spend it. It's an 8-person mount, but it's the big whale from 4.
Oh wow! So is the event going to be?
Sweet.
So the event's going to be in game?
It's gonna be a mix of in-game, but there's also I'm sure it'll be like on YouTube or Twitch or something.
I was gonna say, I wonder if they're gonna pull off like a concert thing, kind of like Phantasy Star does, where they do the live shows and all that stuff. Well, that's not really live, but
Yeah.
I wonder that'd be really cool. Like have like a.
Jason, I swear to God, I thought you were gonna say like Fortnite does.
Oh my God! No, please. You see, now we have to end. Now we have to end the stream because you mentioned that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
My God. No,
I
no,
remember
no.
Fortnite was just a zombie defense game. Shit.
Yeah, I mean, what was Fortnite even live, or was that just a pre-recorded thing?
I'm pretty sure they were all pre-recorded things, but they were like event. I mean, honestly, their concert things they put on are pretty fucking cool.
I wonder if
It's a cool event type deal, but it's just the rest of the game that's the problem.
I think maybe we could probably like
Yeah.
when is this event, Manny?
It's next month. Let me see here.
I said we do a live reaction / watch party for it.
Oh, I'll be crying the whole time. Like I'm taking that time off. Fan Festival 2021. It is. I want to say it is May the 16th or 18th, something like that. I'm gonna pull it here real
Coming up
quick.
soon.
Yep, very soon.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, it's 14th and 15th. So it's for 2 days. They also announced that there's gonna be some in-game items revealed, which is gonna be minions, so like little companions that come with you. They do nothing but just be adorable, and it's gonna be Edge, Riddy, and Rosa from 4 as well.
Okay, well that's cool.
Yeah. Yep, and the big whale, and yeah, they've already released a whole bunch of merch for it, and I've bought almost all of it already. So I bought new T-shirts, and yeah, it's 25 days from now.
All right, we've got time to plan, guys. We've got time to plan.
Yeah. So
especially since we're all pretty much, I think we've all committed that we're getting back into it. Well, I mean, I've been into it. Jeff, Margaret's husband Jeff has been into it. I'm going back to it. I've already installed it on my computer. I'm already 100%. Vanny, you're gonna be seeing messages from me in Discord saying, "Let's go, boy." I don't even care if you're sleeping. I don't even care if you're sleeping. I'm gonna be like, "Wake your ass up. We're running this stuff." And hopefully Jeff joins it, and then Margaret, if you and Herch can join it, man, that'd be cool. Margaret, you used to play MMOs. I think you'd enjoy it. You play Fantasy Star also, and like I said, if it's free up to level 60,
It's fun.
perfect, perfect, because that's
You'd like
plenty
it.
of time for you to get into the game and get like real deep into the game. It's beautiful.
Yeah. And for $15 a month, yeah, it's like I said, it's just so good. It really is.
Now, the only thing I have is like right before I used to play WoW right up until I had my son, my oldest son, and he's 13 now. So it's been a while since I played WoW, and I had to quit because I got pregnant. I couldn't play anymore, sit at the computer and play, and then I became a mom, and that just kind of. But now that I know how to balance being a parent and doing that.
Nice.
Like I said, we played
maybe I have to
Fantasy
get back
Star
into it.
together.
Yeah.
We killed it on that game together.
Yeah, but WoW took over my life. You remember that?
Yeah, but
you
I
remember
mean-
how deep. But I wasn't a parent then.
But if
I
you go
was-
back to WoW now, like it won't be as
So maybe I
welcoming.
can
It won't be as
manage.
welcoming as Final Fantasy would if you left Final Fantasy and came back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are tons of YouTube videos out there now of where you're seeing folks who go like, "I'm leaving WoW for Final Fantasy" because of just the community, just the spectacle of
Okay.
things for too. I think we're one thing I've talked to my dungeon master is still a huge WoW player, and he did try 14, and he says he just could not get into it. But one of the biggest things that he did point out, which is objectively it is true, is where I think one thing WoW still does really well is just scope and scale. Because you're going up against like giant deities and like these humongous gods and sort of thing. And it's like the fate of the universe is every 15 minutes sort of thing, where 14 is more of a personal story, where you do go up against these giant monsters and you do go like these, like I encourage you to watch like Alexander raid runs, because it's just this enormous robot. But the stakes sometimes aren't nearly as high. Like not every battle is like the fate of existence is in the balance for it. So
Okay.
Well,
See, the problem I kind of had with 14 was like, to me, there wasn't like a whole lot of direction, like to where, like what to do. You know what I mean? It's like you could do fucking anything. Like you could do this, you could do this. Like you can waste your whole fucking day,
playing mahjong now.
mining shit or do whatever. But it was hard for me to find like a path of like, okay, this is like the story and what I want to follow. It was just too fucking, man. I got so sidetracked on everything. It was hard to stay focused on shit in the game.
Yeah,
I didn't
they did
have
fix
that
that.
issue.
Yeah. They did put in like the top left corner of the screen now too. Like if you still need to go through story content, it'll tell you, there'll be like a persistent like logo right there. Like here's your next thing. If you need that guidance for it, just click right there and it's gonna tell you where to go next.
Oh, cool.
See, I played like right at like a Realm Reborn. Like as soon as it kicked off is when I started playing it.
Yeah,
And
it's gotten
then-
much better and streamlined
Yeah.
like a motherfucker. It's so much more streamlined.
Cool.
Yeah.
And like
No,
I said,
I
I
definitely
didn't
get
have
into it.
issues, but of course I joined when Shadowbringer came out and they were doing that deal,
Yeah.
and I thought
Mhm.
it was easy. Like I got
Yeah.
everything I needed. The path, my direction was clear and all that stuff, and like I said, I had no issues.
By that point, it was fixed.
Yeah.
Is this what he
I
was
love it.
playing the other day, Jason? That you were like, hey, or you were telling me about? We were talking
Yes.
when we were watching him the other night.
Yeah, because you were like, "Ooh, that game, I like it because it looks so pretty."
It did. It
Yeah.
looked so pretty, so bright, and I was like, it did. It reminded me of WoW. I even mentioned that. I said, "Wow, that looks like he's playing WoW." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what it's kind of like."
It's awesome, Mark. I'm telling you.
It's same, but it's different.
I'm on
Yeah.
Vanny's side. I'm trying to sell this game to you guys. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
already
All right,
installed
I'll
on my
give it a
computer.
try.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the harm? I like it or I don't, right? What's the
Yeah,
harm
I
in
mean,
trying?
always give it a try. Never try
Right.
something. It's never not try anything.
How
No,
how
no,
do you
right.
get the game through their own website, or do you go through
Mhm.
Steam, or like what do you do?
You go through
It is on
Square
Steam.
Enix and Steam, but they have you set up a Lodestone account, whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So it's still there. Like the registration part is still a bit of a pain in the ass, which I still don't understand why in 2021 they still have it like where it's like trying to solve a fucking Rubik's cube. But it once you kind of get through the initial run through for it, it like I said, it's pretty smooth sailings after that.
What the
Um,
fuck is this screen, man?
So
you
I
go to
was
website
wondering.
when you move
So
the mouse around and like
No, that's weird.
that's
And-
fucking weird, man.
I
It's
can't
like the
remember
whole
where I
thing
seen
shakes.
it, Van. You probably know a lot more about this than me. But so 16's coming out in the future.
mhm.
I heard they were, and I don't know if this is true. This is probably just rumors floating around. I heard they were going to allow multiplayer in it, like
I hadn't heard about that.
co-op or something. And I was just like, the only reason I have an issue with that is like the one thing besides at 14, the one thing I truly love about Final Fantasy, it is me by myself. Me
Mhm.
enjoying these experiences by myself. That's what gets me lost in the games. And I was like, man, what could you bring with the multiplayer aspect? I mean, what are you trying to bring here?
They did try it with 15 as well. I think they had like that
Oh,
separate
they
minigame
did.
for
Yeah,
it, too.
yeah, they
Yeah.
did. Yeah. You wouldn't- yeah.
And I think
There's
that like
a-
the go ahead.
No, I was gonna say is 16 is based in one of the other worlds, isn't it? Isn't it like 12 or something like that, or is it its own thing?
It's
Nah,
it looks like much more. It looks way more like I think more traditional like Western European sort of setting versus like
it's going back to like a original like final or like a fantasy like medieval kind of
Mhm.
thing.
yeah.
Which is
Okay, but it's
awesome.
not.
Pretty
It's
sure
not
it's its
based
own world.
in
'Cause I think
one of
9
the
was
other
the last one
worlds
like that,
itself,
right?
though.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's gonna be its own universe this time. But yeah, the 9 was like back to the real traditional like crystals and finding all the other stuff for it. 10 was futuristic, 11 MMO, so whatever. 12 was more of like a steampunkish, still kind of realm. So I think more
Yeah.
closer to like 4 and 6ish. It was closer to the mark, but I would still say it's a little bit more of like a modern kind of feeling to it. To me, 12 is Star Wars. Like I think Final Fantasy 12 is 100% like they try to copy Star Wars.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
my
low key.
issue with that game.
Low key, I actually liked 12 when it came out.
I
Actually,
12 is
thoroughly
great.
liked it.
I
like-
don't
It
understand
was
why people
great
have an issue with 12.
until like you get to the end of the story. I'm like, I wanted something that had like a punch in the game, kind of like 10 did.
Mhm.
It if it hit it, like it just was so low key. It like I missed
Yeah.
it or didn't feel it. It just wasn't as big.
Like when they announced.
I had a hard time with the combat in 12.
Well, see, that was what made me scared about 12 was when it came out. It wasn't turn-based system. And I was
Yeah,
like,
gambits.
oh man, yeah. I was like, oh man, I was like, I don't know, man. That's the one thing I love about Final Fantasy is that turn-based system. And then I liked it, and the summoning part was one of my favorite parts too because your summons would just walk with you. Now I think it was limited time, but like yeah, I was like, oh cool, I got Ifrit, and this dude's like literally just chilling with me like through this corridor. I was like, this is pretty cool. I was like, I dig that, you know, because I'm a huge summon
So
guy.
the thing that punched the most damage in 12 was that that other like ability thing. I don't remember what it was, like where the characters do like the combination, you hit the buttons just right or something. You could do chain attacks.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those were probably like the most powerful parts of the game, like when it came to like winning boss battles.
Yeah, because that's always my thing in Final Fantasy. I don't know if it's weird, but I always try to get the summons as quick as possible. Like in 9, my goal was to get every summon before, Dagger or Princess. She would lose her summoning skill. So I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. I see Shiva and everybody else in her inventory right now. I was like, bet I ain't gonna level her up to have the MP to summon these guys. So I would like literally grind, and I was like, I'm gonna get this before disc 1, and that was my thing. And that's like, I mean, I love 15, but that was one of my pet peeves. Is with 15, like your summons, they wouldn't come, or you couldn't summon anything unless certain like things.
It was
Oh,
pretty
it was
scripted.
like
Yeah.
almost totally random.
Yeah, it was also like time of the day mattered and certain like attacks and the way you attack. And I was like, man, that's like really complicated. I was like, I don't like it.
Oh.
And the thing is the summon sequences in 15, like the scenes and everything, like when freaking Ramu just comes up there, picks you up, like he's gigantic. I was like, that's so awesome, but it's like, why can't I summon him whenever I want? I was
Yeah,
like,
because
please.
it would be game breaking at that point. Yeah, it's. I respect it. Like I said, even though there's installments I really don't like. I said I don't like 2, I don't like 8, I don't like 13, and I hate the 7 remake. But I know I'm in the minority for that one, since I know everyone like tends to love that one to death. But there's always been redeeming factors for each of them. Usually, like they and the one thing I'll say for all of them, they are all experiments. Like that's been one of the greatest things where you. And what also I think it's brilliant about the whole franchise too is that it makes it a lot more accessible to go back to it. Like today on stream, I went back to play Final Fantasy V.
Yes, you
The
did.
Steam
That was
version, which
awesome.
sucks. It was a blast. I had
Oh my
so
God.
much fun.
Dude, the music, the battle music in Final Fantasy V, it brought back so many, like, it hit me in, like, memories pop in my head. I was like, oh my God, I forgot how much I loved this song as a kid. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's why I mentioned it in the chat. I was like, oh my God, this battle music. I was like, I loved it.
It's a blast. And then I'm still need to get to battle on the big bridge too, and fighting against Yojimbo and not Yojimbo, Greg. What's his name? Not Gilgamesh. Oh God, what the hell's his name?
It's like Gileash or something.
I'm looking at. I'm drawing a blank right now. 14.
That's like
I've also had like one of the better class systems as well.
It is Gilgamesh, yeah.
And as like Vanny said, there's always one like quality thing from every Final Fantasy game. The one thing I do like from 13 is Blinding Light, which is the battle music. That's one of my top favorite songs. It's like number 3 behind Not Alone from Final Fantasy 9, which would be number 1, and then Out of the Frying Pan from Final Fantasy 10.
Yeah, it's like the soundtracks have been consistently pretty excellent across the board. Like even like the ones that aren't like maybe quite as memorable. Like I think 2 has like a couple of decent tracks on there, but like there's still something to be said about like each of their soundtracks. I think Uematsu and then most recently with 14 are just Yoko Shimomura, who did the 15 soundtrack, just did amazing jobs on all. And like I said, even though like 13 is probably it's a real struggle to say anything really positive about 13 because it has some of the some of the least likable characters in the franchise history. Like I hate Hope and I hate Vanille. Fang's kind of cool, and Snow gives off some really creepy vibes. But
I mean, Lightning looks cool. Is that a positive? I mean, she does look cool. I thought she looked cool. But I mean, yeah, like I said, Blinding Light was awesome. Blinding Light was really like one of my favorite songs, man. I remember Tyrone was the one that had me listen to that. I was like, oh my God. I thought it was a song from Smash Brothers because he's just plays Smash Brothers all of life. And he's like, no, this is Final Fantasy 13. I was like, yeah, okay, so one good quality of your favorite game. All right, cool.
Yeah, oh, man, I love watching Smash players like put on different soundtracks, not knowing what they're actually from.
Yeah. And again, the cool thing too, like 13, I'm sorry, Sephiroth and Cloud freaking show up in
Smash Brothers.
In Smash, and then even just the fact that like Sephiroth's announcement trailer where it looks like he's just straight up fucking murders Mario, and I
yes.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh my God, wow, Nintendo's allowing this.
I'm surprised they did that. I was shocked at that.
Yeah, that was freaky. Because like unfortunately in real life I work in the video game industry, and just like all of us like stop what we're doing. Anytime there's like a Sony announcement, Nintendo does a direct or something like that, everybody stops what they're doing to watch these things. And I was on a chat at work, and when they announced Sephiroth, and just seeing like the stabbing, everybody just on chat was like, "Oh shit! Oh my God!"
I was like, it blew my mind because I was just like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Are they gonna show this as Nintendo?" Because Nintendo's very family friendly. That's what they've always been. They never really want to do that. And I was like, "Oh my God, Mario got stabbed." And then I was like, oh my God, and I was like, how's this? I thought it was a great way to. I thought it was a great way to like introduce the characters though.
Oh God, yeah.
And isn't the song that they brought into the game One Winged Angel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's like Final Fantasy VII.
They did the whole thing. Like
they did it right.
Yeah.
And Sephiroth plays really fun too. I really like playing as him. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm still using Marth and Falco.
No,
So
I'm a Ganondorf.
I mean, dude, Ganondorf in Melee, which Chris in the chat, Chris B, he played Smash Melee a lot. He used to beat my ass when I worked at Geek Squad a long time ago, all the time.
Yeah.
And he would use like Ganondorf all the time, or Captain Falcon, because they had the same moveset in Melee.
Mhm.
They were literally the same thing. And he would like with Captain Falcon, he would always give me the knee. He called it the knee. And then with Falco, he would do the down spike. But dude, his Ganondorf, man, he would just keep spamming that up B on me and catching me. And like,
Yep.
I'm like, what the fuck is your problem, dude? And then Ganondorf
It
had
worked.
Ganondorf had a good down spike too, where he would just kick down. And dude, I was like,
Yep.
I can't dodge it because it's so quick. Oh man,
It's good shit. It's good shit.
I'm gonna have to take off here, guys. I gotta get up in
Yeah.
a couple hours.
that's fine.
Before I leave, what's everybody's favorite summon? I'm just curious.
Ooh. I think mine's Leviathan.
Well, is a good one.
Mine's a meme. Yo Jimbo.
Yep.
You gotta pay the man. You literally gotta pay the man
Yeah.
to help you
Yeah.
out. That's awesome. I was like, all right, cool. All right, here's my money.
Yeah. Titan for being the first time I ever experienced, so it's gonna be Titan for me.
Wasn't Titan in 15?
You played that? That'd be Titan from 4.
Rydia's
Yeah.
first summon. Yep. Like, you killed my mom. Like, so I mean, technically that would be the Mist Dragon would be the first one then, but yeah, just the whole like, you killed my mom. Like, yeah, we did. Sorry. That's an our bad on
Whoops!
that
It
one.
wasn't us. It was this package we were
Yeah, it
given.
was this ring thing that. But we're in the chat. What about my mom? That was us. Sorry.
Margaret, you want to guess a summon? You look more of a Shiva person yourself, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just go Bahamut Zero. Just say Bahamut Zero. You're good.
Yeah.
Bahamut Zero, there you go.
That is a good one.
I think my favorite just because of the way they look, and when I first seen it, I was like, "What the fuck?" was Anima.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that one's
and
really
10,
cool.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anima.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh
and,
man,
And
that
Yeah,
creeps
when
me
that
out.
thing came out, I was like, "What the fuck
Dude,
is happening
Seymour
here?"
was like literally no joke. He
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna take care of business, and I was like,
Right.
oh my god. And then the fact that
Yep.
they told you can get him, I was like,
Yep.
oh yeah, all day.
Yeah,
Please,
and you
I
It was
want
one of
that.
the stronger
dude, and
summons in the
it's
game.
worth it.
Mhm.
And Anima is going to be an Endwalker too. They got the artist from
Really?
the artist from 10 is working with 14 to give it a 14 update, but it is the same artist. But
That's
Anima is going to
pretty
be a
fucking
boss fight.
cool, man. That's cool.
All right, so
Yep.
we're 100% now. We're all getting.
Yeah, we got to get in on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
please, Yep.
Get to Endwalker. It's so good. But if nothing else, before you guys head out, I really recommend check out that music video from A Long Fall. It's what's up. It's a great jam.
Yeah, I already
Do you-
watched it actually while we were sitting
Yeah.
here.
Do you,
It's good. It's good. I like it.
Yeah.
Do you
Like
think
the lead
we'll-
guitarist is the composer for 14. Like,
Yeah.
How rad is that?
Do you think Twitch would DMCA if we just played it on the stream?
Definitely.
Nah, I say come on, guys. We live life on the edge of Nova Circuit.
Do
No,
it.
just
Why
I
not?
didn't think-
I mean, what? I mean, come on. I mean, what are they gonna do? Ban me for a couple hours? Let me go. Where's
I don't
it-
know.
maybe a
Let's find
strike?
out, I
We're
guess.
supposed to stream a game tonight, Jason. What are you doing?
We'll be able to. We're watching it. Yellow, right, guys? I mean, am I right? We'll just listen to it. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, you guys ready for it?
Do it.
You guys hear it? Oh, it's on the stream.
Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's on the stream.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not on the stream.
Hold on.
I'm here,
Yeah,
but I'm
cool.
not here.
I know the people watching the stream can hear it.
Okay, I got it. I hear it. All right.
Oh, I dig it.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Every single day, at least twice.
Dude, I'm definitely. This is going on my playlist.
Yeah, I like this.
Oh my god. Wow. I gotta pause it before we do get DMCA. So
Yep.
I always thought because I hate Breaking Benjamin, but
Oh, I
when
love that.
when they
One of my first
did
concerts.
when they did the Halo theme for Halo 2,
Mhm.
that was my favorite video game song ever. But I think we just found a new one. That's
Yeah.
good, dude.
Oh.
And watching the video even gets me more amped because watching the guy play the rhythm on
The
the
guitar.
guitar. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So the people that
No,
did
it's-
get to hear that in chat, wow, man, that's intense.
Yeah, between that, Shadowbringers Away to the World, all incredible tracks. Yeah.
Oh yeah, wow. Thank you for showing me that. I'm gonna actually put that in my saved list on much. You
Yep.
gonna go ahead and add that to my playlist.
Yeah,
Man,
nope,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
Like, and I spent like the $30 to get the album because the one of the weirdest thing about the Square store is you don't they rarely sell CDs, they sell Blu-rays, so that way you get like the highest quality and all that stuff. But it's a huge pain in the ass to get like the they'll send you a code inside the disc to download the MP3 so that we can put it on your favorite listening devices. But it's a humongous pain in the ass.
Who the hell has a Blu-ray player like in their PC
A
anymore?
PlayStation
5.
4, PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. But they also then give you orchestral rolls, which are in-game items for 14. That when you get your free company and get your own jukebox, you can now play tracks. And they released a long fall as a track. When you buy the album, you then get the code for the track for that.
All right.
cool.
That's
Yeah.
actually really cool.
Yep.
I'm
So
gonna
again, one more reason why 14 is just so good. But
I'm gonna wake my wife up to that song. She's gonna be like,
Yeah.
"What is this?" I'm like, "You know
Yeah.
what it is."
Like, the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She meant to come up and chat and say, "Hey, Vanny." She likes your streams too. She likes watching you cut.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Let me see if I can find it here. But yeah, the again, like it's just I could talk. Like I said, I've talked about that game for hour. Like we've definitely spent a lot of time talking about it today. But like I said, one other last thing, just kind of show just the level of detail that people have for this game is there's a channel here. Yeah, Home and Garden Final Fantasy 14, where it is just people just doing tours of their homes, and it's again just to see the amount of work that folks put into it. It's genuinely impressive.
Wow.
And it makes you want to go in and, like I said, like you can play the entire game, not do a single bit of combat after the intro bits, and you just go find your crafting classes, and it has, like I said, it has its own story arcs for it, but you can make just genuinely beautiful stuff.
It's like
And-
a legit. It's not like, oh my, there's so much detail to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a legit home. They built this.
Yeah, all through crafting.
Oh,
Holy
you're showing
crap.
them the free company buildings.
Yeah,
and housing?
a housing crafting. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's awesome, Margaret. Like when Rob first showed me in my free company, the Band of Misfits, as we were called. I was just like, oh my god. I was just like, this exists. It blew my mind. I was like, the
Wow.
fact that they have that aspect in the game, it literally makes you feel like you're home. It
Yeah.
literally makes you feel like
Yeah.
you're home in a game, and you can chill. And the fact that
Absolutely.
you could do whatever you want to your quarters or your room, amazing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they have-
on
Mhm.
Steam, I want Final Fantasy 14 online free trial.
Mhm.
Okay. I was just making sure that's what it
Yeah.
was.
Hertium, why don't I see you downloading it right now?
Oh man, time commitment. Like, I don't play a lot of video games these days anyway.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
I have, I do so many other things right now on the side that like adding an MMO is like not even on the table right now.
No.
Yeah, and this can absolutely, if you let it, this could be a time consumption. Like when I first started streaming, this is all I ever did was play Final Fantasy 14, and I never even got scratched the surface of what of doing stuff like this. But
Oh yeah.
Wow.
peop-
That's,
yeah,
that's nuts.
yeah, it's genuinely impressive. Like there's sometimes members of free companies who this is all they do. Like this is like they're into combat, they're into that stuff, but this is what they're passionate about, and they just spend hours just doing the work to build stuff like this.
Another thing that
Right.
is really
Wow.
good is if you're in a big free company. This is what I realized. It definitely makes the game more enjoyable because just a friendship you build in the game. Because one thing I realized about Final Fantasy, the community itself is one of the least toxic communities I've ever been part of.
Very much. So.
Like
Yeah,
WoW community, they can go F themselves. They are toxic. But man, in
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, there's been several times where just random people were like, "Hey, you just want to join us? We're just It was back when I was low level, and they were like, it was when when in the story quest, they start making you do dungeons, and you have to wait for players. There would be literally guys sitting there waiting, saying, "Hey, are you on the dungeon quest? Join us. We'll go ahead and do it right now." And I was
Yep.
like, "Oh my god, okay, cool. That makes it easy for me because sometimes you would wait for a while to queue up with someone. There would be guys literally waiting there, and I was like, dude, this is like, thank you. I mean, because I remember in WoW when you had to do quests where you had to take out bosses, there'd be dudes sniping the boss so you don't get the credit for it.
Yep.
Mhm.
And I was like, man.
I remember that.
And the one thing I love about the free company that I'm in, Band of Misfits, is, dude, we create our own Discord. We all like it's like you literally build a great friendship with these people. And
Yeah.
dude, Margaret, you've actually met a couple people in my free company when we did the Among Us game.
Yes.
The Australian guys, they're in my
Mhm.
free company. Those guys are hilarious. I mean,
Yes, they
they're
are.
you should see them in the game. They're just as big lovebirds in the game as they are in real life. The way those guys talk to each other, and it really makes you, and me and Banny both agree on this. Like it really makes you like feel like you're so immersed in there that you forget
Yeah.
that I'm a human right now and I have bills to
If-
pay.
Yeah.
It absolutely feels like home every
It
time I
does.
play it. It's just like I said, one of the most welcoming communities. Everyone's been super cool about it. Like just as a weird thing, if you go on Netflix, there's a show called A Dad Reborn, and it's a Japanese it's just a soap opera thing. But
I've seen that. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, and it's based off a real story of a guy who's trying to connect with his dad, who like they grew up playing Final Fantasy games together, but then they have like just life happens and they start to have a strained relationship, and the dad retires, so the son gets him a copy of 14 to play, and he just kind of plays as his character. It never just says like, "Hey, I'm your son." He just says like, "Hey, I heard you're new. Would you like to play?" And builds a relationship that way. Like it's surprisingly touching for it too. It's so weird, but it's a great example of just like how the game, because of the community and because of just like there's moments in the series where it's just like members of the free company are just in the house just bullshitting. And I remember watching that, at least the soap opera when it first came out. I was like, that doesn't happen. Then I realized like 2 days later, I did the exact same thing. And yeah, it's
Nah,
just it's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. Like when I was debating on what my tattoo would be, like it would just I always had that rule of like, think of a design. If you want it after a year, then you want to get it. Like I waited, this never faltered. Like it was always just the red mage.
it's funny
And
because
so
like I don't have a tattoo yet, but my first tattoo is actually going to be the symbol from the Final Fantasy IX game right here, same spot.
the crystal.
Yep, the
Yeah.
crystal. Yep. And then like literally like I eventually, because the only reason I don't have a tattoo is because I have a huge fear of needles, like a big
Yeah.
fear of needles.
It
But,
wasn't bad.
yeah, I eventually just want like a sleeve of like my favorite video games. But yeah, it has Zidane from 9 on there, all that stuff. It's even when he's touching Garnett's butt before getting on the
Oh
airship.
yeah.
He's like, ooh, soft. I was like, yes. I mean, nowadays that'd be frowned upon, of course, because she didn't consent to him touching her butt. Now, guys, remember that's not right. But the part was funny. Remember the times were different, guys, when that game came out, and I'm not condoning that it's a good thing now, but it was a thing on there.
At the time.
Yeah.
Shit, man, I don't know how to make this work. It keeps asking me for a registration code for Final Fantasy 14, but I don't have that.
Oh my God, is that the one from Japan?
Oh, that's
Correct.
sweet.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
Should not have showed that to Jason.
No,
And
he's
I don't
about to
think-
have a.
He's gonna go to Lisa and
the
be like,
price-
"We're finding one of these live or die."
Nope. Where'd you get it? I need you to PM me in Discord where you got
He
these.
needs no info.
Steiner.
Oh my.
There's Steiner and there's Garnett. Speaking of that, before we leave, I was going to ask you guys, what are your favorite side characters besides the main characters? Because everybody has their, I like Cloud, I like Titus, I like all that.
Yeah.
I want to know everybody's like side characters. Like who's like side character? Not a lot of people talk that you actually were like, I actually dig this dude. I was glad he was part, because I loved Steiner. I thought he was cool. He was like
Steiner
that comic
was
relief.
pretty cool.
I mean, because one, he was kind of like a ditzy freaking captain of the, what was it, the Knights of Pluto, and oh god, it was so funny. Like you call him Rusty, and he just gets so angry because he was very committed to like taking care of Princess Garnet. But I totally digged him. I was like, dude, this is a good. I mean, BB was a cool side character. The only thing about BB in Final Fantasy IX that I didn't connect with is his story was so dark. Like it was like he didn't know where
To
he was
me,
from.
Vivi was the coolest thing about that game.
I mean, he was
that
the
was
most
my
badass
favorite.
character. For
He
sure.
was my favorite part of the whole game, man.
I'll wait for Vanny to get back to talk about that stuff. Get his thought process on mine. You back, Vanny?
Yeah.
So I was talking about my favorite like non-main characters of Final Fantasy. I was like Steiner. Oh, look at Noctis looking good. Look at him.
Yeah.
It's funny because Matt and Jack, the guys I work with, they do literally look just like Noctis and Prompto. Like they
Really?
literally do. They have this because Jack has like anime hair. That's how his hair literally is styled. And Cundiff kind of has like Prompto's haircut.
Yeah,
And
there we go.
they took a picture on Facebook if I can ever find it. Oh, that That figure's so nice. Where'd you get that one?
I have from the Square store. I picked up the 15 Collector's Edition.
Oh,
Yep. So and it came with the play. Like I actually have quite a pretty extensive collection of the play archives of from Final Fantasy games.
you need to send me in Discord a link to those Final Fantasy 9 figures, by the way, so I can.
I have
convince
no
my
idea
wife.
where. So I used to when I was a kid. I worked at EB Games / GameStop, and
So did
back when
I.
it was still Electronics Boutique, they had a pretty large toy selection, and when things went on clearance, just I get pennied out. You're supposed to destroy them, which is bullshit. So yeah, those Final Fantasy 9 figures cost me nothing. They were pennied out, and I just took them.
Oh my god. Yeah, I
Wow.
worked at GameStop when they were EB Games as well, and they were transitioning over to GameStop. That's
Yep.
when I started working there.
They had a lot
I'm
of good
college.
sales around that.
Yep.
Oh my god, I'm so jealous. I'm about to find those now. Like, oh,
Yeah, the
Oh,
Bandai
man.
figures. Yep. Which is ironic now because now I work for Bandai.
what?
I'm the HR manager for Bandai Namco.
Fuck you.
Yeah. You son of a bitch. I thought I had a cool job, and everybody was saying that it was cool that I, could do I have the freedoms to play games, watch Twitch streams all day. But this motherfucker works for. Yo, they hiring? They need IT?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey,
Well,
get
You,
those
want to go to California? You
motherfuckers-
want to come to California?
Yeah, get those
I
motherfuckers
already
to
told you about
fix Pokemon
California.
battle.
California is my dream. I
Yeah.
love California. Huntington Beach is my favorite place in the world, anyways. Yes. It's just
Yeah,
convincing my wife.
Yeah, I live in Santa Clara. Yeah, I live walking distance from the office, which not like it matters because COVID, but yeah.
Oh, you son
That's
of a
cool,
bitch.
man. That's pretty
Mhm.
fucking awesome.
Just when
Yep.
you oh my god, man, son of a bitch, man.
Yeah, if you look at the trailer, the end credits for Little Nightmares 2, I'm in the credits for that one, and I'm in the credits for Darkest Pictures Little Hope. I'm actually referred to by my proper name in Little Hope, and then my middle name is Tomas. But there's a lot of Chris's at the office, so they need we need a different name for you. So I was like, my middle name's Tom, and like, you're Tom. So yeah, in Little Nightmares 2, I'm you'll see my name on there, and in
So, like,
Pac-Man,
the HR manager is
Mhm.
in the credits?
Mhm.
Like,
and
as,
Pac-Man 99, I'm in
what,
there.
just working, like, I'm not, like, I was working there, or did you, like, what'd you contribute to the game?
I kept the place afloat. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
I made sure people got paid and that their 401ks didn't fuck up.
Man,
Yeah, no,
dude, like, I thought my job was great. You guys envied me for my job. Now y'all are gonna just talk to Vanny and not talk to me no more. Y'all are gonna be like, man, this guy is so cool. Man, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is
That's
pretty awesome.
super cool, man. Shoot.
Yep.
All right. Well, we need hookups, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna. I wonder if they'll let IT be remote. I'll
Mm-hmm.
do. I'll do remote support. Listen, I'll fly out to California.
Yeah.
And when you guys need me, when a ticket drops, I'll be on the
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
flight
but
out
then you're
there.
going to get one of those service calls that says, "Hey, I can't connect to the internet."
Yeah,
How
turn
are
it
you
off
gonna
and
get
on
that
again.
remotely?
Turn
How
again,
hard
yeah.
is IT, guys? How hard is IT? Just turn it off and on again.
Well,
No, but back on the subject of Final Fantasy before Van just flexed on us again. We were talking about like side characters, non-main
Yeah.
characters, because everybody's like, "Oh, I love Cloud, I love Zane, Titus." We can go the list down.
oh, I already got my answer. Yeah.
But like I said, mine was Steiner from 9 because I just thought he was like a comic relief, and then it was just kind of silly how committed he was to Garnet, and it blinded him with his commitment.
Mhm.
And then I said another, and a lot of people in 9 say Vivi's the best. Like Jeff said he liked Vivi in 9, but I was like, the only reason I liked Vivi, I thought he was very powerful. The only thing was, man, his story was dark.
It's
Yeah,
very dark.
people
And
were
at
just
the-
really attached to him.
Yeah, and at the end, like it was very sad because at the end he's dead. At the end, when you see the little black mages, he's gone. He did die.
Oh yeah.
His because they explained in the whole game that black mages were on a time ticking. They were
Yep.
literally on a time limit, and his time hit. And when that hit me, I was like, "Oh man, that's so sad, BB, man."
The field. It's all the fields.
Because his story was so dark, like him trying to figure out, like where he's from, and when he saw the black mages being created, it really struck him. And I do love Vivi, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I just Steiner kept me from crying. I was like, "Thank you for doing."
Who was the
stupid-
his counterpart in the Empire or whatever, the girl fighter?
Beatrix.
Beatrix. I
Beatrix.
loved like the comedy between the two of them at times.
Oh yeah, because I mean they became lovers in the end, but like yeah, because their factions rivaled each other. He was part of the Knights of Pluto. She was part of Yes.
I forgot what Beatrix's name was. Yeah.
Yeah, but she tried to show that her guard was better for Queen Braum than the Knights of Pluto, which it totally was. And she was way more powerful than Steiner, in my opinion. But until you level them up, but
Yeah.
yeah. But those were my favorite side characters from 9. I thought 10. I thought I mean, I didn't like Auron that much. I was just like, every Final Fantasy kind of has that dark character, but
It was pretty cool.
Kamara's pretty dark.
I liked Waka. I kind of liked his little backstory as well in 10. I thought he was cool.
Yep.
But anybody like Van? Do you got any good side characters? You said you had one ready.
Hildebrand from 14. Again, a character who's just designed for just pure silliness.
Yep.
But also again having the depth for it too, and just absolutely adore Hildebrand. Again, it's incorporated as part of my branding and stuff too. Yeah, I absolutely adore the character. Like if you're kind of go through like even just taking through my top 3 from 4, it's probably going to be realistically like if you have to take Cecil out of the equation, just kind of going off the ancillary characters for it then too. I do like their version of Sid quite a bit, where he's just a straight up engineer who just knew how to fix shit and just was a lot of fun and very positive.
Mm-hmm.
And from 6, Setzer, 100%. Absolutely, I love the character. I love. It was one of the first characters who I memorized a line of dialogue, which was "My life is a chip in your pile, ante-up," which is just such a fun line. Then, just the moment when he joins your party, like he's always in my party, even though he is kind of a shit character. Like I just love the character so much.
I was going to say Sid's in every game technically, but it's just different reincarnations, of course.
Sometimes he's the bad guy.
I liked Sid in 15. Just an old ass dude running his shop.
Dude, yep.
His daughter or his granddaughter or whatever. Or daughter was her name. What was her name?
Cindy.
Cindy, pretty cute.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was a bit fanboyish for that one too. Like, between that and Cup of Noodles and brought to you by Colt. Like this camping was brought to you by Coleman.
That's what we were talking about in your stream, was how they plugged in Cup of Noodles as a recipe for Ignis, and I was like, so you take a styrofoam thing of processed food and heat it up. Okay. All right.
Yep. Ooh, and then you get a hat. Yeah.
Yeah, the hat I did wear though because it made me LOL. So.
Yeah, it was just I looked up Ross's explanation, like just the 15 was in its development hell for so long, and then again rebranded from being a 13 offshoot to then being a main installment, and they needed cash to finish it off, and so they had to do all this extra product placement for it. But it just hearing Gladiolus talk about, like, oh, Cup of Noodles gives me the energy I need to keep adventuring, is like, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's so out of place for it. Like, the Coleman stuff, okay, fine. Like, even just having, like, a Cup of Noodles, like, restaurant in there, too, like, okay, I guess. But just to make it such thrown at your face all the time, like, I just didn't care for it.
Yep.
Same thing, it's one of the many reasons also I didn't like Death Stranding either. Because, like, fuck you, Monster.
Yep. I forgot Monster was in Death Stranding, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Hated it that. I don't like energy drinks in general, but the fact that just like Monster was such a major part of that game too, is just like, no, that's not necessary.
He was just trying to find funding for the game.
Yeah, which I get that, but it was so out of place. If it was just something like, it was just like a part of the game, like if it was just something you would just see Sam go grab a monster and just drink it, cool. But like just having it just thrown in your face all the time was just, and the fact that you don't even get to drink water for like to stay hydrated, you have to drink monsters. It's like, that's so.
Actually, side note, as far as like branding in a video game, Devil May Cry 3, if I'm not mistaken, didn't they do, or maybe it was 2, yeah. They did like Pizza Hut?
Diesel clothing.
Well, I'm thinking like the pizza boxes though, because like at the beginning of the intro of like the game or something, he like spins up a pizza box or something in the room when he's like killing all the demons or something.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't remember. I've never played 2. I just heard it was the worst game ever, and I never fucking played that one.
Oh, it was
awful.
A decent game.
Yeah. Oh no, I have major. I hate it too. So 2 was made concurrently with 1. And 2, the developers did not realize what they kind of figured, like when people were playing 2, was like, I guess people probably don't like snarky Dante, so we'll make him super emo serious and all that stuff. So they they had a team who had no idea what they were doing. Maybe it is
3. 3 was it 3 that was on the PS2 before and 4 was on the next gen for the PS3?
Yeah, 1 through 3 were on the PS2. Yeah, I'm even looking at the scene
so
right now too.
It was DMC 3 was the one I played.
Yeah.
That one was pretty fucking good though, man. That one was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, 3 was amazing. I looked it up. I'm not seeing because I remember to me I remember the pizza box being open usually, so I don't think it was a reference.
Maybe.
And I just did a Google search for Devil May Cry 3 Pizza Hut and it's not coming up with anything. Just the
Okay.
pizza fights, the pizza scene. This is Yeah,
Can
so-
you guys hear my son in the background?
No.
Okay.
No.
He's
Yeah.
he's just having a good old time in the living room.
Yeah. Yeah, two had the sponsor with Diesel clothing too, just to kind of keep up with the trend and stuff too, which was just again super out of place, but not over the top out of place, like where they shoved it in your face, but it looked weird seeing Dante like in like skinny jeans.
That was the style back when that game came out.
It
though.
was.
It was just trending
was.
too. All
Yep.
the emo kids. So back to side characters. Herchkin, do you guys side characters?
I do. So if we're just kind of going back through at least the favorites, like our top 3 games, I actually looked this name up for this one because I didn't remember it. I did remember the character in Tactics. You had Mustadio Bonanza, who was the gun mechanic or machinist as far as that class is concerned. He actually played like not a major role. He wasn't like a main character. He was like one of the side characters that comes in at a point in the game, and he actually has like his own side story and stuff. But he's also like one of the more useful characters in the entire game. Like every time I went into battle, I always had him in my party because he could basically like put a status condition on anybody from like 30 spots away, which was insane.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he was super useful.
Yeah.
And then like 4, Alamporum, probably my favorites, and then like Rydia is one of the coolest summoners. And
Hell yeah.
then 10's a little bit tougher because there's not really side characters exactly because like they're all part of your party.
Well, I mean
They're
that
all
counts
really main
too.
characters.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but
like not Titus then.
But
basically.
yeah, just anybody other than Titus
right,
or Titus, as I call him.
I mean, Seymour to me was like one of the coolest bad guys in the entire franchise. With the exception of like the bad storytelling, I think like where he keeps somehow reviving himself or something and coming back and just not leaving you the heck alone.
I couldn't stand Seymour.
he
Man. He
was-
came off as pompous.
He was a pretty
and-
cool bad guy.
No, I was so annoyed with him. I was like, dude, this guy is begging for me to punch him. I was like,
He was the
can't-
most punchable. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, are you kidding me? This guy walk off was like, he literally had like, he walked like he had swag. He was like, yeah, I'm that guy. And I'm like, oh my
Oh, he did. Yeah, he was.
Like,
He was definitely full of himself. And then what was the other one I said? It's 4, 2 Tactics. And I guess did I say 7? I think 7. Vincent. I have to mention Vincent was one of the coolest characters in the game.
Fuck, man, you took mine.
You didn't have to get him to be in the game. He was just completely side character.
Yep.
The cool thing is, it developed an entire story and game around him that was actually just gut wrenching at times. With
Dirge.
was it Cerberus?
Dirge of Cerberus, yeah.
Dirge of Cerberus.
Got my copy behind me too.
I love that game. That
Mhm.
that game's a little bit like under the radar. Like even if it doesn't fit like our ideal vision of like Final Fantasy VII, just
Yeah,
being
I gotta
kind of
say
like
that
a bunch
game,
of like
like,
spin-off stuff.
mechanics
It
and
was
shit
really
is
fun to play.
I
terrible.
love Dirge of Cerberus, but I agree with Miyagetsu here. Yeah, it's a bad game, but I love it though. It's pure fanboy service all the way,
It
and
is,
I'm totally fine
absolutely.
with it. Like Gak's 2 songs,
Yeah.
Longing and Redemption. I love the soundtrack. I love the cutscenes. It's total fanboy, but it's to me it's a game that's very much shoved up its own ass, and I'm perfectly fine with it.
Yeah, when I actually played Dirge of Cerberus when I worked at GameStop, because I don't know if they had the rule with you, Vanny, but they would let you borrow a game. You just had to write it off in the book. So
Yep.
for inventory
That
purposes.
Goddamn red book.
Yeah, that damn
goddamn
red book. But I saw it and I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I just watched Advent Children and I was like, oh, it wasn't a bad movie to continue from what happened in Final Fantasy game. So I played Dirge of Cerberus, and the only thing I didn't like about it was that game was more cutscenes than gameplay to me. And I was like, oh, I just literally just watched a movie. I literally just sat here and watched a whole other movie about
Yeah,
with Vincent in
it did
Totally
have
fine
a
with that.
lot of that in there.
But I mean, it wasn't. I never thought it was bad though. That was just the only thing that drove me nuts. I was like, okay, so they could have just made this a movie and I would have been fine.
Yeah,
But-
the only weird thing
yeah.
about Dirge was like the weird like underground faction. Like
Yeah, Deep Ground or something like that, or
Yeah.
I
yeah.
don't even remember. I haven't played the game in probably 10 years.
yeah, and the Kate Sith stealth levels too.
I did like Vincent though. That was a fan service though, man. I just thought he was badass. And then Advent Children did such
Yeah,
a good
Deep
job portraying him.
Yes.
I was like, man,
sure.
Vincent is that badass guy, and I was like, thank you. And then yeah, that's why I got Dirge of Cerberus. I was like, oh, cool, it's Vincent. I was like,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, I had a copy of I'm sorry, I had a copy of Advent Children on PSP UMD.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
God,
had
I
the
remember that.
Chinese like bootleg before like like 6 months before the US got it.
Does PlayStation still make the
Yeah.
PSPs?
No, all the stuff's
No.
dead now.
Okay.
They already shut down the PS3, PS4, and Vita stores now too, which pissed off a lot of people.
Yeah.
Since a lot of the
Yeah.
developers didn't even get a heads up, they were just kind of like, because they sold a whole bunch of dev kits out to developers since it's still an indie darling console, and they just went like,
I think
Yeah,
the
it really
only-
sucked, man, because the Vita was so fucking cool.
Vita
man.
was a
it was so
really
cool.
great system.
yeah. No, it had a lot of potential, but yeah, I think that Sony gave up on it, and therefore it just crashed
Yep.
on its own.
I think the
This
only
is a
Final
shame.
Fantasy game I had on PSP was I want to say Dissidia. That was the fighting one, right?
Yeah, Dissidia was
I
on.
had, I had Crisis Core.
Oh yeah,
I got-
Crisis
I got my
Core.
Crisis Core behind me there too.
We know you're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
There's still a lot of pieces of my collection. I still need to collect a lot of the PSP Final Fantasy games, and I want to get box versions of the Famicom ones too, because I don't. Mine are unboxed.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saving all my Twitch points on your channel for, is make you show off all your good stuff. I don't know why I get excited for it. That's why
Yeah,
I did
no,
done that one. I saw your Legend of Zelda stuff. I was like, Vanny, you have no idea how much I love Legend of Zelda. I was like, that is my cat. Her name is Zelda.
Yeah.
And because of it, I was just like, oh my god. And then I before I named my son Gavin, Link was one of the options. Oh, here we go. He's gonna flex on us. Y'all ready for some flexing? Oh god.
Wow.
Oh my god.
See the Super Nintendo stuff right there, but this is actually not even all my collection for Zelda stuff. This is I legit ran out of space for
So what we're gonna do, Vanny, is one day we're gonna have a private Discord chat, video chat, and my wife's gonna be with me.
Yep.
And you're gonna show her all your collection.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna
And-
beg her for the same collection. Oh,
I
look
do
at
like
that
that
poster.
poster.
Oh my god. Oh, go to the right.
Bro, I like the Knights of the Old
Yes!
Republic
I
poster.
have the same one.
Yep, my first wall scroll. I still have it
Yep,
after all
I
these
have-
years. So,
That wall scroll, and I have the Legend of Zelda wall scroll with it.
let's see.
Oh,
Fuck,
Star
dude.
Wars.
I really gotta go, guys.
Yep.
All right, Jeff.
It's been fun.
Yep.
See y'all.
See ya, Jeff.
God,
Oh,
and you
look at
gotta
that.
flex the PC too, man.
All right,
get out
that's
of
it.
here.
I'm gonna try to
Get
flex
outta
my
here.
PC. My
Yep.
PC is not as
With your fucking
beautiful.
cool job and oh
Yeah.
god,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. You know what? I gotta get up in the morning and go fucking install some bullshit ass air conditionings.
Yeah.
I wish I could go to Bandai headquarters. That'd be cool, but
That's mine.
Yeah.
With all the cable
Is it-
management behind it.
Oh yeah, no, my underneath my desk looks like a fucking shit show.
Oh,
Yeah,
you-
it's
yeah.
a wreck.
But
Yeah.
that's me flexing my computer. Look at all
Yeah.
the awesomeness that is not Vanny's.
Yeah. Well, that thing cost me more than my first car too. So
I bet.
the tubing was just that was expensive.
Yeah.
That's
See
what you
ya.
gotta do though when you
All right, see, good to meet you, man.
yeah,
what
man.
you gotta
Bye,
do
Jeff.
when you hit all that
Yeah.
big time streaming too.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm
I'm
not gonna lie, guys. Vanny's I told Vanny, Vanny messaged me last night and said thank you, for his tier 3 sub, and I told him, I was like, dude, you have no idea, like you're worth it. Like I
Aw.
became a fan 2 weeks ago, and Margaret hears me talk about you more than anything. Like when we're even playing games, I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, did you see? Vanny mentioned this, and I was like, and this is, and I know I'm not trying to get like personal or anything, but when you were explaining like your past with like your father and stuff,
Yeah.
I was telling
I
Margaret.
talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Margaret, I was like, dude, he has the same story with me and my mother. I was like, it's great. And Margaret hears me whine about my mother all the time. And I was just like, my real mom was never really close. My stepmom was, never treated me or my brother right because she favored her kids. So I was always grounded in my life. Never had a really, my childhood wasn't that great. It was very bad. Hence why Final Fantasy IX is my favorite game, because it was one of my minimal happy times around that time. But I was like, dude, this guy, I can connect to him because he loves Final Fantasy. He uses it as an escape. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I'm obsessed with stream. I'm watching you over Revan.
Bro, damn.
Like,
Thank you.
if you didn't notice,
Yeah.
I was on your stream the whole time commenting on your
Yeah.
podcast, and then right when yours ended, I went right over to Revan and watched the rest of his
Yeah.
until then, because I saw you in chat. I was like, hey, yeah. I was like, and I told Margaret, I was like, it's funny. I was like, man, I gotta show Revan some love because I haven't been on his stream since Vanny's been streaming. I was like, shoot, what am I gonna do? I was like, so I'll have
It's
multiple
hard.
streams up at work. I'll have yours and I'll have Revan's, but I'm on yours commenting because, it's hard for him. He has a lot more viewers, so sometimes he'll miss your messages. With you, you're on every message, and it's cool because we can have those conversations. And you know, and your podcast yesterday was awesome. That was Margaret, Jeff. I highly recommend you go back and watch his podcast yesterday. It's Organization 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
me and Roswell Flame. Yeah,
it was one of the best podcasts I've ever heard, like especially all Final Fantasy.
Aw.
Man. It's just to hear the knowledge, because I learned stuff yesterday. I thought I was a huge Final Fantasy freak, and then hearing these two guys like spit back and forth about it, I was like, oh my god, there's a lot that I didn't know. I was like, and I enjoyed it. I was at work all night, like distracted. I was like, oh okay, yeah.
yeah.
And
As
it
soon as
was-
we were doing the podcast,
When I couldn't get on.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was perfect because usually Margaret gets on around 10:30 p.m. around that time. Oh snap!
Yep.
But usually Margaret gets on around 10:30, but she was working on her own side project for like Nova Circuit stuff like that. So I was able to just all day your stream, and then your stream was still going on, and when Margaret got on, and she was talking to me, and she's like, "You didn't listen to me, did you?" I was like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I was listening, I'm listening." I was like, "They're saying something really cool. I just have to listen to it right now." I was like, "I'm sorry, Margaret," and she was explaining business stuff like about Nova Circuit, and I was like, so I had to like turn down the volume to your stream just because it was business, and like I said, if I'm not listening to anything about my company, what kind of CEO am I? So I was like, okay, what do you have, Margaret? Margaret, come up with her ideas or whatever, and I was like, man. I was like, yeah, so I thoroughly enjoy the streams. I love the cooking aspect of it. I mean, so yeah, definitely, man.
Absolutely.
I love it, and I highly recommend it. And all week on the Facebook page and Twitter page, I was whoring out. Like instead of putting Nova Circuit's Twitch on there, I was just like, we have a special guest, Vanispheres, and I had yours on there. I didn't put Nova Circuit's on there. I was like, listen, you know who we are, this guy. So hopefully that helps, gives you some traction, and you'll always be welcome on any podcast.
Yep,
you don't even have to discuss Final Fantasy with us. You can just you're an overall geek like all of us, so you easily anytime you want, you're more than welcome to always join a podcast.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Oh
This
yeah,
is fun.
man. It was great, and I'll see your streams, of course. When you're on all the time, I'm always there.
Yeah,
but
Wednesdays
have
through Sundays.
anything like important coming up for anybody to look out for? You can shout out on here.
I think Raziel and I are going to be doing an unboxing, maybe as early as Monday or Tuesday. If not, we'll maybe save it for later in the week. The Final Fantasy trading card game, where we each ordered a box, so we're going to do an unboxing stream of those. But realistically, this week is going to be Wednesday is going to be Final Fantasy 14. Thursday, I'm making poutine. And on one of the red mages, Sean, he just had himself a baby boy, and so this is as a little congratulations for him. I also want to making poutine too. So Friday we're checking out the new Nier game, and then Saturday more Resident Evil.
You know what
and,
you should?
the podcast.
You know
like
what,
Resident Evil.
You know what you should do, Vanny? And this is just an idea. I'm just spitballing at you. You could totally down it if you want. You should recreate Ignis' food. You should try to recreate those.
I do have a recipe for his beef stew that I use make for myself on occasion.
Is
too.
it good?
And it's really good.
Oh,
I love it. Yeah, it's just a beef and
man.
veggie stew with red wine reduction and some beef broth. It's really simple but really really delicious.
Man, that'd be really fun to watch too. Is watch you make those foods.
Yeah. Or I could just do his toast recipe.
Oh yeah. I mean, some of his recipes are like super simple. Doesn't he have like just mac and cheese on there or something like that? Like chicken strips and mac and cheese or something like that?
I think he does have a mac and cheese, but I think it's a bit more of I think it's like a truffle one, isn't it? And cheese. Let me see here.
The bot double. The same.
All Ignis food. Let's see here. Recipe. So let's see if they have a listing here. So toast, flame roasted toast, Per-style skewers, multi-meat sandwiches, cutlet sandwiches.
All I hear is you naming future streams.
Yeah.
That'd be
So
so cool, man. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm totally letting you have credit for it. I mean, I'm just
That-
like, I mean,
I mean,
and
Even if it's not exactly what it is, if there's not a legit recipe, make your own. Maybe
the
you
thing
come
is,
up with your own.
I'm kind of,
Something close to it.
the only thing that's gonna suck is I'm gonna upset myself about it because it's gonna look so damn good every time I watch his streams. I'm like, damn it. I was like, son of a bitch. I was like, come on,
Yeah.
man. I was like, I want to be there and be able to, like, that breakfast sandwich this morning looked really good. That bagel looked
I mean, it did.
amazing.
I mean,
the bagel's good.
honestly, like he said, if he would have probably cut the meat in half, or even
Yeah.
if you took and took the meat and kind of like mixed it with like maybe some kind of sausage, or even mixed it, I don't know, something a little bit, I don't know, just definitely cut it in half, because that was a
Yeah,
lot on that.
It was too much beef. It was way too
Mhm.
much. Yeah, I would swap out the everything bagel with the regular one with the plain bagel,
Yes.
just kind of to mute the flavor a bit.
Mhm.
Half the meat, definitely, maybe even 3/4 it, and adding the pickles. Adding the pickles actually did absolutely save that recipe.
Yeah.
It really made it tasty, but it was still just too damn heavy with all
Right.
that stuff on there. But yeah,
Mhm.
pickles or some sort of it needs like a sauce to just kind of cut how heavy everything is. So
Right.
even if I just got like legit like made like a melted cheese like nacho cheese sauce or something like that
There
to
you
go
go.
over it, that would have been
Yep.
that would have worked. But now I know for next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it did look good though. I mean,
Yeah.
the presentation looked good.
Yeah, on the outside, but like once I did that cross section, you just see, because again, it's just hash brown, bacon, egg. It's just a pile of brown.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, the initial bite, like first of it is like, oh, it's not, no. I also think it's just me getting older now too, and like I usually eat pretty lean throughout the week, and then like these are almost kind of like cheat days almost for me, like when I do the cooking streams.
Mhm.
Especially like this coming Thursday making poutine too. That's not 0% of what I'm about to make that day is gonna be healthy. But it hits me a lot harder now too, since like most of the week is usually like grilled chicken and broccoli kind of thing.
Yeah, and especially when you're going back and forth, and if you're doing that, you're not eating it like on a constant basis, so your body's not used to it. So to kind of slam it in there once a week, it's like, oh my gosh, what are you doing to me?
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
Yep. But
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be looking out for that one too.
Yep.
all right.
But
Very cool.
definitely, Van, do you have any shout outs or anything you want to do before we leave? Anything you want to do?
No, this is a lot of fun, guys. So again, just a shout out for the Organization 2 podcast, Saturday nights with Raziel's Flames, and of course, always going to be from Mr. Evan 7, since he's the guy who got me back into streaming too.
Yep, he's the reason we started, and I think he's awesome. Plus, the cool
Yeah.
thing about him streaming is that it seems like he's not selfish. Like he is all about
No.
everybody else growing. Before Vanny leaves, that's what I was going to explain before we ended our podcast and went over to gaming. Is that's all Nova Circuit's about. Vanny, his Twitch channel is way bigger than ours, but we're gonna it doesn't matter to us. We're all streamers in the end, and we're all one big family. There's no competition to Nova Circuit.
Right.
We're here to support everybody because we're all in this. It's like we all work for the same company. We're just trying to entertain people, and there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with trying to do that. So that's
Yeah.
like me and Margaret talked about it. Like we don't have the money like Mr. Beast, but our goal is to just do what we can to make people happy. That's my end goal. I like seeing people happy.
And helping people do, their dreams. I mean, we don't, if this is your dream to do this, then,
And like I said,
It
we'll
is.
shout everybody out we can. We don't
We'll
care
help
if
you
you
out.
become more popular than us. We don't care if we stay at our less than 200 followers on Twitch. We don't care. As long as everybody else is happy and they see the people that we bring on and they're happy, and it's all about promoting other people, man. Like I said,
Yeah, it's like
you never
crossing
see
and
me
just-
hating any stream. If a random streamer who has like 5 followers came onto our chat now and it's like, hey, can you promote me? I'm like, you're damn right I will, because it's all hey man, you're trying to do something just like all of us.
Appreciate it. No, thank you guys. So this was a lot of fun. So, but no, thank you guys very much, and yeah, I'd love to come back on sometime.
Yes, you are
Awesome. We'd
any
love to
day.
have you.
If you want to be on next week, even though we already got somebody coming on, you're more than welcome just to join. We
All right.
love,
Yeah.
like I said, we love you. You're
All right,
awesome.
appreciate it.
So yeah,
All
but see you, Vanny. Margaret,
All right.
me and you are gonna play games.
Yes.
Jeff, you out?
Intermission for a minute. I'm going to say
I'm,
goodnight to my
I'm
husband.
going to bed.
All right, guys. Well, thank you
All
guys
right.
for who did tune in to watch the Nova Circuit podcast. Remember Vanny and
Yes,
also me and
thank
Margaret
you
plays
again for
games. So
joining.
just after the intermission, be back in 5 minutes.
Right
All
on.
right.
All right. Cheers.
Yeah.
Bye.